He said, quote, "Great brands, great prices. Discover it all at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Back to you.
Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Tournament on Westwood One. From the Progressive Insurance Studios, I'm JB Long. See why over 28 million drivers trust Progressive to stay protected on the road. See for yourself at Progressive.com. Our first game from Albany was a clash between LSU's bid to go back-to-back and defend their national title and UCLA's ambition to reach the program's first Final Four. The Bruins had defeated more ranked opponents this year, 9, than any program in women's college basketball. Early, it was the defensive struggle that many had forecast, including the battle on the boards between the two best rebounding teams in women's basketball. Early second quarter, LSU was the first to find some offensive traction.
Van Lith, across the court, gets it to Johnson. Johnson doesn't have the numbers, flares out on the right baseline. Down the baseline, spins, twirls, and throws it in. Flau'jae Johnson is a rapper, and it's poetry in motion here on the court. 23-18 LSU with a timeout taken by the Bruins. They are on their feet off the LSU bench as the defending champs adding a little breathing room.
Johnson scored 13 of LSU's first 32 points, while UCLA endured a 5-plus minute field goal drought, and yet the Bruins only trailed by 4 points once they snapped the spell. Late in the first half, the Tigers create some separation.
Williams, top of the key for LSU. The shimmy move, the left elbow jumper, the smooth touch, the freshman delivering on the big stage. It's a 10-point LSU lead. The defending champs mean business. 34-24 with under a minute to go in the first half.
Meantime, the Bruins' shooting percentage was just dismal. They started 1 of 16 from behind the arc. But as Lance and Kim documented during their broadcast, this wasn't uncharted territory for UCLA. The Bruins had just rallied from down double digits on Monday at home against Creighton. They just had to find a way to dial it in from distance.
Cameron Brown chases it down, outlet up ahead to Osborne. 2-on-1 break. Osborne to the right corner to Jones. Her three, up and in. Their first lead since 18-17 with 9:09 to go in the second quarter. The Bruins are back in business. 45-44 over the defending champs, and it's London Bridges doing the heavy lifting.
UCLA won that third stanza by a touchdown, went from down 7 at the break to tied heading to the fourth quarter, and this was a game that featured 8 ties and 13 lead changes, many of them down the stretch.
Floats it to Williams, top of the key, comes around to Del Rosario, screen, right elbow jumper on the money. Michaela Williams with 12 points, and it's a 60-58 LSU lead. Hawkeyes back the other way, right through the heart of the LSU D, goes left to right, lays it in. We're knotted at 60, as Hawkeyes is now in double figures with 11, and it's now 11 lead changes.
And yes, that is Jaime Hawkeyes' younger sister, Gabriella, for UCLA. Let's get to the final minute. Foul trouble on both rosters. Still a one-possession game. LSU on the high side with the ball.
Van Lith dribbling out to the right wing. She's beyond the arc. Gives up her dribble in front of her own bench to Reese off the right elbow. Gets a clear out. Working on Betts. Dribbles right to left. Denied by Betts, who reached over her and swatted her away. Johnson picks it up. 4 on the shot clock. Down the right sideline. The scoop shot. Up and in underneath Betts. 72-68 LSU. UCLA back the other way. Rice pushes off. Offensive foul as she took Van Lith for the ride. And that is going to be her 5th and final foul. Rice is going to watch from the bench.
From there, LSU just had to make free throws and manage the final 39 seconds, while the Bruins missed their last 8 attempts from the floor, simply didn't shoot it well enough to beat a team of LSU's talent and experience. 78-69 the final. LSU defeats UCLA. Let's check the road to the Final Four tournament summary. Sponsored by Marriott. Take your game day rituals on the road with Marriott Bonvoy. Over 30 hotel brands for every kind of fan. Discover more at MarriottBonvoy.com/NCAA. UCLA bows out in the Sweet 16 with a final record of 27-7. LSU moves on to Monday's regional final in Albany, awaiting the winner of Iowa, Colorado. Coming up next, we'll preview 2 more Sweet 16 games in Portland, a region that features the top freshman in women's basketball, and the player that Gino Auriemma believes is the best overall player in the field. You're listening to the Women's Basketball Tournament on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
This March, Wendy's has some amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's, official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer, participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
Business has always been about turning a profit, making money. But can it stand for something more? Something beyond dollars and cents? We think so. We think that today, business has a higher calling, a purpose to be fair and just, to do right by their workers, customers, communities, and the environment. And it turns out companies successful doing that also do better for their bottom line. When you see the Just Capital seal, it means this company is a force for good. Visit justcapital.com to learn more.
Jamie Long here in Los Angeles in our Westwood One studios, and we are between games in Albany 2, the regional semifinals. Final score of our first game, LSU 78, UCLA 69. The Tigers over the Bruins as the defending champs are still alive. Next on the floor, it's the 1 Iowa and the 5 Colorado. Later tonight, we'll take you to Portland for Regional 3. My friends Matt Chazanow and Chris DeBlanc have the rundown.
Thanks, JB. Couple of great ball games coming up here in the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. It's the 1-seed USC against the 5-seed Baylor. And then tonight, the 3rd-seeded UConn Huskies take on the 7-seed Duke Blue Devils here in Portland. Juju Watkins is the player that pops off the page for the USC Trojans. She's put up shocking numbers. Could break Cheryl Miller's scoring record this year. One of the great names in all of basketball. Juju Watkins, as just a freshman, is this leader for USC. Can she beat Baylor, the Baylor Bears from Waco?
Well, I think the thing that Juju Watkins and USC has found over this entire season is that it isn't just about Juju. It may look as though it is. She's averaging 27 points a game. She's second in the nation, only behind Caitlin Clark in that category. But when they've had their success, when they've been able to get the big wins, it's when it's been more of a team involvement. And she's really grown in her game in reading what the defense is giving when they throw the double teams and the triple teams at her, finding her other teammates. And a big plus for USC is bringing in the grad students that they did. 3 Ivy League transfers in. They bring experience. They've got a great mix of both youth and then experience as well. And for Baylor, though, this is a team that's very undersized in a lot of ways. They've been playing that way the entire year, but a balanced offensive attack. They're very defensive-minded. They've got incredible speed at the guard spots. And so they're a team that's going to be aggressive and crashing the glass. Rebounding's been a big plus for them as well.
Both Baylor and USC get to the same place in very different ways. They each average 75 points a game, but you've got so much of a percentage of production on one player for USC. And for Baylor, it's kind of a grab bag. It's pick and choose. Their scoring's very even, and they use their bench a lot, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They have 4, almost 5 players averaging double figures, but fairly low double figures, 12 points, 11 points, 10 points a game. However, makes it very difficult to guard a team like that, and they get a lot of their offense with what they do on the defensive end, but also the extra effort points, the offensive rebounding. And so if you're USC, you got to keep them off the glass.
The nightcap tonight's the perennial powerhouse, the 3-seed UConn against the 7-seed Duke. Bit of a surprise maybe for some that Duke is here right now. They won at Columbus. They do their thing defensively. They don't score the ball a ton. But how big of a challenge is that against this UConn Husky squad with Paige Beckers?
I think it is, it's not going to be easy. For Kara Lawson, her 4th season as the head coach, Duke finished as 7 seed going into the ACC tournament. They definitely had their ups and downs, but they had an incredibly tough non-conference schedule that helped the growth of this very young team. And when I say young, 8 of their 11 players are either sophomores or freshmen, but they have also become starters, and they have filled and continue to grow and mature in so many different areas.
Meanwhile, here comes UConn once again. They didn't lose at all. 0 losses Big East regular season, Big East Conference Tournament. They actually played statistically the number 1 strength of schedule difficulty in non-conference as well. 31-5. They've battled through injuries. Is UConn almost under-discussed, as odd as that is to consider?
I think that they have been in so many odd ways. I mean, they lost 5 players overall again last year, decimated by injuries. This year, again, so many, but early on, and I think it was early enough to kind of figure out who are we as a team. but one player they definitely had back, and that was Paige Beckers, and that was someone they didn't have last year, averaging 22 points per game. They've really leaned heavily on her. Aaliyah Edwards as well, another senior that gives them the presence on the interior, and so just enough depth probably, if you ask Gino or Emma. But this is a team that doesn't have a big window, an opportunity to go deep into a bench. They rely heavily on those starters.
A couple of really good ball games here coming up in the Sweet 16. A trip to the Elite Eight on the line for the 1-seed USC against the 5-seed Baylor, and the nightcap, it's the 3-seed UConn against the 7-seed Duke. Right now, let's head back to JB Long in the Westwood One Broadcast Center.
Thank you, Matt and Krista. Cannot wait. But before we send it your way, we've got the biggest name in the women's game. Caitlin Clark in Iowa, the top seed in Albany, taking on Colorado. Hawkeyes head coach Lisa Bluter takes us inside our next matchup when we continue from the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. This is the Women's Basketball Tournament.
Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Tom and Levi.
Tom is the smartest man I know. He's been a professor at 2 major universities, been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, he told me that he was having problems in his classes. I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. And he was telling them that he was doing it as a favor to them, but I think in reality, he just wanted to get out of there. I was really starting to worry because I saw something was wrong.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me, and my love for him was just immense.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
It over to Clark right side. Pump fake, drives in, super quick. Shovels it out up top. It's lost by O'Grady. Hands it off to Warnock now. Peels off to the right with a dribble. Ditches Clark. Steps into a three. Got it right side. And it's 52-42. Largest lead of the ball game for Iowa. They're up by 10.
That was our buddy Matt Chazanow with the call on Westwood One last year in Seattle as Caitlin Clark drove Iowa past Colorado. We welcome you back to the NCAA Women's Tournament on Westwood One from the Progressive Insurance Studios. I'm JB Long. Looking for a career path with flexibility, great pay, and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. Bundle today at progressive.com. We are moments away from a Sweet 16 rematch. Colorado and Iowa meeting in the regional semis for the second year in a row. Clark dropped 31 in that Hawkeye win last March en route to a trip to the NCAA final. This March, the Hawkeyes are coming off a perilous second-round victory over West Virginia, 64-54 at home, as Clark broke the NCAA single-season scoring record, surpassing Washington's Kelsey Plum. No surprise, Iowa the highest-scoring team in women's college basketball, but have their last few outings proved the Hawks are much more. Lance Meadow discussed that with Iowa head coach Lisa Bluter.
Coach, a 64-54 game for the Iowa Hawkeyes is a bit of uncharted territory based on what you went through in your last contest. But all the talk this season has been about you having the number one offense. Now it seems as if people are paying a little bit more attention to the defense. How refreshing is that for you and your team?
Well, it's nice. And I'm telling you, going through that last game probably proved to us that we can win in different ways. You know, everybody talks about our offense, and that's okay because we're proud of our offense. But we also work really hard on defense, and people don't recognize that because we give up a lot of points. The reason we give up a lot of points is we score a lot of points. There's a lot more possessions out there to be had. And, I thought our defense was very, very good against West Virginia, and we proved to ourselves that we can win a different way.
Colorado is an extremely balanced team. They have multiple players that average double figures, and I think what they were exposed to in their win against Kansas State is on any given night or day, somebody can go off. How does that influence your philosophy from a strategy standpoint in what you're telling your team?
It's a lot harder to guard a team like this that is so balanced and that anybody has the opportunity to really step up. When you have just one or two players, you're easier to guard. This is a team that, like you said, is very balanced. They really got every element as far as inside game, outside shooting, and great point guard experience and quickness. And so it's a very tough team to defend for sure.
So much talk, obviously, about Caitlin Clark, Coach, and I'm sure you've been asked every question imaginable. But there is this storyline that this is her last hurrah, and I can only imagine how much that puts on her, puts on you, and the rest of the team. How much is that discussed, that every game you go through here down the road could very well be the end of the road?
Yeah, we don't talk about it a lot. Everybody knows it. It's in kind of everybody's back of their mind a little bit, but we don't want to play like that. We want to play free like we did every year, and I think we've approached every game in that way, even in the conference tournament and in our, first two rounds of the NCAA tournament. So we're not playing like it's our last game. We won't even talk about that or think about that until the last buzzer sounds of, our season.
Coach, greatly appreciate the time and the insight.
My
Best
pleasure.
of luck.
Thanks, Lance.
And you heard Coach Bluter discussing their Iowa's ability to win in different ways lately, not just running opponents out of the building. Clark had this to say about Iowa's last 3 wins, dating back to the Big Ten championship victory, which required a second-half comeback and overtime to get past Nebraska.
I think the biggest thing for us is, I don't feel like any of those 3 were complete games, but I feel like that also is, that to me, that's a positive. We found ways to win all 3 of those. It's okay if we have a bad half. Not everything's going to be perfect. It's going to be okay if we have a bad quarter. So I think it's just looking at everything in a positive light. Yeah, there was a million ways we could have got better from those 3 games, but at the same time, to me, that just shows the growth of our team and the growth of our program over the course of the last year is be gritty, be resilient, and find ways to win, and that's really all that matters when you're playing an NCAA tournament.
Now, Colorado head coach J.R. Payne certainly studied what West Virginia did defensively against Clark and the Hawkeyes last week. But she knows that each game plan stands alone in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think every team's game plan is really, at least for us, every team's game plan should be based on their own personnel. We do have some similar pieces to West Virginia. We also are a different team in a lot of ways. So, we're looking at every game that Iowa's played, and trying to take bits and pieces. Maybe this is something that could be effective. Maybe that's something that, could be disruptive in some way. So certainly watch that game and most of them, to be honest.
All right, we're about to find out if the Hawkeyes benefit from being battle-tested lately or if their recent nail-biters are a sign of their vulnerability as they play against the Colorado Buffaloes. Either way, Kim Adams and Lance Meadow are living through some history in Albany where LSU is our first winner. We'll send it back their way. Kim and Lance, take it away, team.
And thank you so much, JB. And this is a rematch from the Sweet 16 last year in Seattle. It was a 10-point victory for the Hawkeyes, 87-77. Colorado led that game by 1 at the break. Then Caitlin Clark went off in the third quarter. So we turn the calendar forward a year. And there's a Colorado team, Kim, with a lot more experience that they bring back from last season. An Iowa team that's lost a few players, but Iowa's now going to go up against a really good defense for the second straight contest because Colorado held Kansas State to just 15 points in the second half last week.
Yeah, that was an astounding number. And what I think Colorado's biggest strength in this game is how old they are, the veterans, and not just that they're seniors and grad students, Lance, it's that they've all played together for years at a time. They did bring in a key transfer in Maddie Nolan. She's really the only new piece to their core. Everyone else in their rotation has played together for 3 or 4 years at a time. They felt the heartbreak of letting that game get away last year. Experience can be a scary thing at this time of year.
So let's go through the keys to today's contest between Colorado and Iowa. And Kim, let's start with the Buffaloes, who have the task of trying to slow down Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I mean, there could always be a key of trying to limit Caitlin Clark, make things really difficult for her. I'd say the number one focus when you are playing Iowa is the transition defense. This Iowa team leads the nation in scoring at 92 points per game. A big part of their success in transition is Caitlin Clark, who, as gifted as a scorer she is, she's maybe equally as talented at pushing the ball up in transition, the vision. So when you're defending Iowa in transition, finding Caitlin Clark early, trying to cloud her vision on the look-ahead passes is key, and then not getting beat down the floor by a player like Hannah Stolke. And then second for Colorado, you have to defend the three-point line against Iowa. They're top in the nation scoring. They're also top in the nation in threes made per game. They make 11 per game. Obviously, a ton of that comes from Caitlin Clark, who makes about 5 threes herself per game, but you also have really talented scorers in Gabby Marshall, in Sydney Falter, who's shooting 50% from three since she moved into the starting lineup, and Kate Martin as well, shoots just under 40%. So transition defense, defending the three-point line, huge for Colorado. Now, as we look to the Iowa Hawkeyes, number one that I'm looking for them today, finding that scoring balance outside of Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark had half of their points in the second round win over West Virginia. They have to strike the balance that they did find for most of the season, whether it's inside out, whether it's perimeter shooting. Gabby Marshall was scoreless in the West Virginia win. It can't all be Caitlin Clark here because of how good of a defensive team Colorado is. And then kind of a mirror image to the second key for Colorado, Iowa also has to defend the three-point line. It's something that concerns Coach Lisa Bluter in our conversation with her yesterday. Colorado has two shooters really that shoot better than 40% from three. Frida Foreman, 42%. She makes more than 2 threes per game. And then the Michigan transfer, Maddie Nolan, she shoots 43% from three. And this is a balanced Colorado team with size and strength on the interior. So you can't allow them to really get going from both. You have to try to limit one of those areas.
Let's check the starting lineup, sponsored by Cintas. Workdays are better when you partner with Cintas. Keep your team protected, prepared, and looking great. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday. First for the 5th-seeded Colorado Buffaloes, 24-9 overall. Head coach J.R. Payne in her 8th season record at Colorado, 143 up, 102 down. In the backcourt, they go with Jalen Girard, 5'7" grad student out of Birmingham, Alabama, leads the team in assists and steals. Joining her in the backcourt, Frida Foreman, 5'11" senior out of Denmark, has hit a team best 79 trifectas. Rounding out the backcourt, Maddie Nolan, 5'11" grad student out of Indiana. She chips in with 6.5 points and 2.5 rebounds per game. Also has great range on her jump shot. Quay Miller, 1 forward, 6'3" grad student out of Renton, Washington, the leading rebounder with 7.5 a game. And Aronette Vonleh, the 6'3" junior out of Westland, Oregon, leading scorer with 14 a game. Also the top shot blocker. Top-seeded Iowa, 31-4 overall. 31 wins ties the program record last season. Head coach Lisa Bluter in her 24th season record at Iowa, 525 up, 253 down. In the backcourt, they go with Sydney Falter, 5'11" junior out of Chicago, Illinois, filling in for the injured Molly Davis and taking advantage, averaging 8 points a game. Kate Martin, 6-foot grad student for Edwardsville, Illinois. She's their leading shot blocker with 19 overall on the season in 35 games. Gabby Marshall, the 5'9", fifth-year from Cincinnati, Ohio. She is their point guard. Doesn't do a lot of scoring, but sets the tone. Caitlin Clark rounding out the backcourt, 6-foot senior out of West Des Moines, Iowa. I don't know if there's a number I could bring up to do her justice. Let's just say she does everything. She leads the team in scoring, assists, and steals, the all-time leading scorer in college basketball history at the D1 level. And Hannah Stolke, 6'2" sophomore out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And she is second on the team in scoring with just over 14 a game. Second team all Big Ten. And is a presence on the interior. She'll be matching up with Vonleh at center court for the opening tip. Colorado in its road black uniforms with gold trim lettering and numbering. Iowa in its home whites with black and gold trim lettering and numbering. The officials, Dee Cantner, Timothy Daly, and Kenneth Nash. This is the 8th meeting between these programs. Iowa holds a 4-3 advantage, including winning last year in the Sweet 16. The opening tip ricochets off a few players, recovered by Foreman of Colorado, and we are underway. Game 2 of the doubleheader here in Albany. They go inside to Vonleh off the left post. She misses on the bunny, but she was fouled. And that means Vonleh will quickly head to the charity stripe.
Vonleh at 6'3", going to have a little bit of a size advantage over Hannah Stolke. And the intention from Colorado to just feed it into her right away on the first possession.
They get the foul on Kate Martin, her first, the team's first. Vonleh up and in on her first attempt. She comes in 63% from the line. She had 7 steals in the first half in their last contest against Kansas State. That is a program record for a half. And she misses the second off the back iron, makes one of two. 1-0 Colorado leading Iowa. 9:45 to go here in the first quarter. So the Hawkeyes with their first possession. Marshall bounces it to Clark. Further down the right wing, drives baseline, muscling Sherrod out of her way and laying it in for the first bucket for her and Iowa. 2-1 in favor of the Hawkeyes.
Always interesting to see how teams come out against Iowa. Sherrod just one-on-one coverage to start.
Vonleh's baby hook rolls around the rim and out. Iowa back the other way. Clark threads the needle to Martin. Out to Marshall. Wide open left wing three. Give it to her. Gabby Marshall providing an early lift. And Iowa out of the gates 5-1 over Colorado.
Gabby Marshall scoreless in their last game. A good start for the grad student.
As Sherrod gets the roll on the lefty lay-in attempt. 5-3, Iowa up by 2.
And Sherrod getting right into a face guard of Caitlin Clark, looking her dead in the eyes through the black mask.
And she's defending Clark now at the top of the key. Gives the ball up to a Falter. A Falter dribbles left to right, lose the ball. We're going to get a reach. Foreman had a clean swipe. Miller, though, was defending from behind. And they're going to get Quay Miller with her first personal, and it'll be the team's first. So Iowa will inbound underneath its own bucket. Caitlin Clark to do the honors from the right baseline. Opposite the Colorado bench. 20 on the shot clock. Feeds it left post to Martin. Closely guarded by Foreman, and somehow Martin flips it up and gets the roll. 7-3, Iowa leading as the Hawkeyes have yet to miss a shot. Nolan lets it fly from the left wing. Skims the right side of the rim. Rebounded by Martin. Outlet to a Falter. Iowa, look at the pad. It's 4-point lead. Marshall hit a 3 already in the game. On the left wing, hands off to Clark. She fades away to the Colorado bench short. Off the left wing, rebounded by Nolan. Outlet goes to Sherrod. Sherrod dribbling through the free throw line. Out to Miller. Straight away 3. Off the left side of the rim, rebounded by Clark. And Iowa will slow things down, up 7-3 with 8:05 to go in the first quarter. Clark dribbles around a Stolke screen, hesitates, finds an opening down the right side of the lane, and beats Sherrod to the spot, lays it in. Caitlin Clark's got 4. 9-3 Iowa. Baseball pass up ahead to Nolan from Sherrod, and Colorado quickly responds in a 9-5 contest. That's Iowa leading.
And in my opinion, the defense cannot be that lax against Caitlin Clark. Sherrod got caught up on a screen, but nobody helped. She pretty much walked to the right side of the rim for a layup.
Clark gets it to the cutting Stolke off the left post, and it was a foul on the floor by Vonleh before Stolke put up the shot. The women's Final Four heads to Cleveland next week, and you can still be a VIP. With the NCAA experience, you can get your premium tickets, travel and hospitality, all in one place. To learn more, visit ncaa.com/VIP today. Clark to inbound, left baseline. Gets it to Marshall, left wing. Further down the wing is Clark. Spots up, puts up the 3 off the right side of the rim. Rebounded by Vonleh. Outlet to Sherrod. One-handed pass to Nolan. Thinking about the 3. Gives it up to Sherrod, top of the key, with her team trailing by 4, 9-5. 7:23 to go in quarter number 1. Sherrod puts up the uncontested 3 from the left wing. Off the right side of the rim. Rebounded by Stolke. As Colorado is now 2 for 6 from the field. Iowa is 4 of 6. Clark down the left side lane, bounces it to the cutting Stolke, who lays it up and in off the right post. Clark can distribute, she can score, and do everything in between, and it's 11-5 Iowa.
Another possession where it was just too easy for Caitlin Clark to get to the paint and make that play.
Vonleh muscles Stolke to the floor and has a wide open layup off the right post. Vonleh cutting into the deficit. It's 11-7 Iowa.
And Stolke fell to the ground, laid on her back for a couple seconds. We are witnessing the physicality that Vonleh is going to bring to this game on the interior.
3 different players have scored for Colorado, 4 for Iowa. Stolke down the left post, and she just loses the ball as she was about to go up. It will head back to Colorado. So the Buffaloes making a change. Kendall Wetta, their top defender, coming in. Along with Kim Adams, I'm Lance Meadow here on Westwood One. You're listening to the NCAA Women's Regional Semifinal presented by Intuit TurboTax. Foreman takes a seat for the Buffaloes. As Iowa operating with Martin Marshall Clark, a Falter, and rounding out the group is Addison O'Grady, the 6'3 junior from Aurora, Colorado. Sherrod settles down, gets it to Nolan, top of the key, over to Miller, right wing. 11-7, Iowa leading Colorado. Buffaloes in possession. Vonleh off the right elbow. Out to Miller, left wing three, short. Long rebound goes to Martin. And it's a one-on-one break here. Martin on Miller. Martin down the left side of the lane. Sherrod hit it out from behind. It then last touch Martin. And it will go back to the Buffaloes.
Jalen Sherrod is amped up, especially on the defensive end to start this game. Kate Martin was moving pretty quickly up the floor. And Jalen Sherrod just hunted her down from behind and swiped away at the ball.
And the official was right on top of it, saying that it deflected off of Martin last. Buffalo's trying to take advantage of the turnover. Vonleh, left wing, further down the wing of Sherrod. Down the baseline, goes up strongly, loses the ball. O'Grady was there. Sherrod picks it up. Around the perimeter it goes. Sadler, who just checked in for Colorado, off the mark from the right elbow. Rebounded by Iowa, and Clark will bring it up to court with her team up by 4. Clark dribbling towards the left wing, bounces it to a Falter, wide open, drives left baseline, scoops it in. She's on the board for the first time, 13-7 Iowa. Quick pass up ahead, intended for Sadler, wider for out of play. That'll be turnover number 1 for the Buffaloes. Back to the Hawkeyes we go.
Sydney Falter has been tremendous, stepping in to the starting lineup. Caitlin Clark dribbles towards Sydney Falter, who is being overplayed. Beats her on the backdoor cut, and then Lance on the other side. Colorado really looking to push off of Make, but they've been a little bit out of control when trying to do that.
And this is the complete difference from West Virginia, who Iowa just played, that wanted to move like snails. Martin dribbling left to right. She's beyond the three-point line. Tries to give it up to Clark. She was called for a travel. Sherrod all over her and showing emotion in forcing yet another turnover at the expense of Martin.
I don't think there is another person in Albany that is as fired up as Jalen Sherrod has been in the opening 5 minutes of this game. She was flexing. She was stomping. The black mask is intimidating, I'm not going to lie. And she's going to get a little bit of a breather. What a start for her.
The masked Crusader gets some rest as Colorado goes bigger with Charlotte Whitaker checking in. The grad student from New Zealand stands 6'3". Wetta, right wing to Foreman, top of the key. Tightly guarded by a Falter. Foreman bounces it to Whitaker. Awkward scoop shot, hit the bottom of the backboard. Clark picks it up. Bullet pass up ahead to a Falter. Stops, pops, lays it in, plus the foul. She'll head to the line to complete the three-point play as Iowa running circles around the Buffaloes.
That's where Caitlin Clark is incredibly dangerous. 1 or 2 dribbles up the middle of the floor, eyes up. A Falter runs that left lane.
Caitlin Clark, 4 points. How about 4 assists to go with that? And she just got another one to a Falter on a baseball pass up ahead. It's 15-7, Iowa over Colorado. Timeout on the floor. 4:51 to go in quarter number 1. You're listening to the Women's Basketball Tournament on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
You've probably already heard about how effective medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Zepbound are. But did you know that these revolutionary shots may be available to you online through the Roe Body Program? Roe provides access to these shots, and they also offer support throughout the process to help you reach your goals. Roe's partner handles all of the insurance paperwork for you to help get medications like Ozempic covered. And if you're eligible for prescription medication, you'll have access to your provider on demand for any questions. Plus, one of the best parts of the Body Program is that you can sign up online from the comfort of your own home. So sign up today, and you'll pay just $99 for your first month and $145 a month after that. Medication costs are separate. Go to ro.co/hoopsradio to help reach your goals. That's ro.co/hoopsradio. For important safety information, including a boxed warning about prescription GLP-1 medications, see ro.co/safety-info/GLP-1.
It's NCAA championship time. Fans of the hustle?
Present.
Fans of the heart?
Present.
Fans of the flash, grit, and grind?
Present.
The best fans in the lands are bringing everything they got for their team. Be there when your squad hoists the ultimate trophy overhead. The NCAA Championships. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets. Class dismissed.
This March, Wendy's has some amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave single, order in the app. Dave single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, your home for the national championships.
We're your ultimate pass on the field and in the stands. Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Welcome back to our Grainger courtside seats at MVP Arena. Along with Kim Adams, I'm Lance Meadow. Keep your team moving forward with Grainger. With over 1 million products, including hard-to-find items, Grainger can help your business get a leg up. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. As Iowa leads Colorado 15-7 with 4:51 to go in the first quarter. And Caitlin Clark already doing the heavy lifting. 4 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. And it's not just Clark capitalizing, Kim. Clark is 2 of 4 from the field. The rest of the team, 5 of 5. And that's the opposite of what we saw in their last game against West Virginia. Only 3 other players scored in that game outside of Clark.
Yeah, that had to have been a focus for Lisa Bluder and her group approaching this Sweet 16. And it has been fully spread out. 5 players have been in the game. Only one person hasn't scored yet, Addison O'Grady, but she's only been in the game for about a minute. But Caitlin Clark, to already have 4 assists is impressive. She's not somebody who's going to look to overpower the game when she doesn't need to. She's letting it settle in, letting it come to her. And I just think the attention to detail defensively has not been there yet for Colorado. There's just been some really easy moments for Caitlin and her teammates, and Iowa shooting 7 of 9 to start this game.
Quay Miller picked up the personal as a falter hit the layup and was fouled on the transition break. That was her second, so a falter to the line. No good off the back iron. She comes in at 85%. She was actually 20 of 20 from the line in the last 6 games. But notice I waited till after the miss to bring up that tidbit. As Sadler drives down the right side of the lane, lays it in, and it makes it a 15-9 game in favor of Iowa.
We won't credit you with that miss, but a nice response for the Buffaloes out of the timeout.
Clark comes around a Stolke screen, right side of the lane, comes to a jump stop, sealed off by Weta, Colorado's most lethal defender. A falter straight away, gives it back up to Clark, 10 on the shot clock. Clark tries left baseline, double team in no woman's land, leaves it somehow for Stolke, 6 on the shot clock, her floater blocked out of play. Whitaker was defending. It will stay with Iowa. They'll have 4.6 seconds left on the shot clock.
And that was better defense from Colorado. They chased Caitlin Clark around, and they met her with a double off of a screen.
Clark to inbound underneath her own bucket. Opposite the Colorado bench. Lobs it, intended for Stolke, left post over her head. A falter picks it up. She's got 3 seconds to work with. Trying to lob it into Stolke. And the shot clock is going to expire. A shot clock violation. Kim, I don't know if a falter was aware of how little time she was working with.
I don't think either of them were aware. A falter threw it into Stolke, and then Stolke caught it with about a second and attempted to kick it out. She's had a rough start to the game. Lisa Bluder already had to pull her out once. She's back out there. That's just a head-scratching turnover in the Sweet 16.
Colorado with Foreman, Weta, Vonleh, Sadler, and rounding out the group is Sarah Rose Smith, the senior out of Australia. Colorado's an extremely deep team. Foreman, their 3-point specialist, driving left side of lane, cuts through 2 defenders. Her floater air ball deflected out to Weta. Right wing, 15 on the shot clock. Around the perimeter it goes. Smith stops left elbow, back top to Sadler. Sadler tightly guarded by Marshall, 9 on the shot clock. Through the heart of the Iowa defense, loses her footing and the ball. We're going to get a foul right smack in the middle. It's going to go against the Hawkeyes here. That is going to be their second team foul, as Foreman will inbound from underneath her own bucket. They get it to Smith. They reset. Sadler has it right wing, cross-court feed to Smith, left corner. Down low to Vonleh, left all alone. Had a step on Stolke, lays it in. Vonleh very active early on. She's got 5. It's a 15-11 game as Iowa leads.
Colorado should get her a touch every time. They have not been able to stop her. They can play through her.
Clark down the lane, floats it in. Beat Vonleh to the spot. Caitlin's got 6, 17-11 in favor of the Hawkeyes. Foreman lets it fly from the right wing, off the left side of the rim. Rebounded by a falter, outlet to Clark. Clark from the logo, left side. Her 3 bounces off the back iron. Colorado lets it bounce out of play, and it will head back to the Buffaloes.
Colorado continues to have some good fortune here because nobody picked up Caitlin Clark. A guard did not match up with her. It was Vonleh from the center spot who had to move beyond the three-point line. So a couple of misses that Caitlin Clark typically makes. Colorado getting a little lucky here, just some missed assignments.
2:49 to go in the first quarter. Colorado basketball. Sherrod top of the key over to Weta left wing. Cross-court feed to Sherrod. She's on the right sideline. 15 on the shot clock. Behind the back dribble. Comes around a Vonleh screen. Floats it over to Weta left wing. In the corner to Smith. Her uncontested 3. Off the right side of the rim. Rebounded by Nolan. Blocked once. Blocked again by Caitlin Clark. And a foul called on Clark. So Nolan is going to head to the line. And the Iowa bench felt it was totally clean underneath.
Well, the game has officially begun now because we've had Caitlin Clark complain to an official. So we're here and we're loaded. But wow, we just saw the replay. That looks like 2 pretty clean blocks from Caitlin Clark.
So Clark is charged with her first. That is going to be the team's 3rd. And it will be Nolan to the line, a 90% free throw shooter. And she is off the mark on the first. You can download the official March Madness WBB app, and you can listen to every Westwood One women's broadcast for free. Just open the event schedule, select the game, and tap Listen Now. Get the official March Madness WBB app today. Nolan hits the second. She makes 1 of 2. 17-12, Iowa leading Colorado. 2:22 to go in quarter number 1 of this Sweet 16 battle. Winner plays LSU in Monday's regional final. Clark stops atop the key. Swings it over left wing to Marshall. Drives baseline, floats it up. Too hard off the glass. Stolke was fighting with Smith for the loose ball. They're going to say it was last touched by Colorado. It is going to stay with Iowa, and they're going to have 20 on the shot clock. So Clark will inbound. As Caitlin has 4 assists in this game. Bounces it to Stolke. Hands back over to Clark. Clark sealed off by Weta. Right side of the lane. Gets it across the lane, and the 3-pointer off the mark by Kylie Feuerbach, the redshirt junior out of Illinois. And then Sherrod takes her eyes off the pass from Smith, off her fingertips, off the right sideline, out of play, and that will give it back to the Hawkeyes.
And again, Colorado really looking to play at a high pace. Get that ball out and move it, but that's now 2 turnovers they've had in the open floor. Just a simple drop pass there from Jalen Sherrod.
17-12, Iowa leads Colorado. 1:54 to go in quarter number 1. As Clark slowly dribbles it up towards the timeline. Now enters the front court right side. Leaves it for Marshall beyond the arc. Back top to a falter. 17 on the shot clock. Clark takes over left wing. Around the Stolke screen. Back to the cutting Stolke. Just flips it up. Hit the left side of the rim. Sherrod the rebound. Spins around Marshall. Sherrod going coast to coast. Through the heart of the defense. The double clutch scoop with the left. Sherrod, a magical play, and it's 17-14. Iowa leads. Sherrod has 4 points.
Quick as lightning. Sherrod just slicing her way through 3 or 4 Iowa defenders in the paint.
Iowa is shooting 62% from the field, and it is going to lower as Marshall's 3 from the right corner off the left side of the rim, rebounded by Smith. Outlet goes to Sherrod. Sherrod, a woman on a mission again, sealed off, leans in, the floater off the back iron. Whitaker had a piece of it, loses it to a falter. Outlet goes to Clark. It's a 3-point lead for the Hawkeyes, and Iowa in possession. With Caitlin Clark at the controls, crossover dribble down the left side of the lane. Fires it in the corner to Martin. Her wide open 3. Splashes in for a trifecta. And Iowa pads its lead to 6. 20-14 with under a minute to go in quarter number 1.
And really great creation from Caitlin Clark. Staying patient with the ball. Getting 2 feet towards the block. And then drawing the double and kicking out to Martin.
That was the 5th dime for Clark. And we're not even through the first quarter. Nolan right wing for Colorado. Gives it up to Smith. Right elbow jumper. Bounces off the back iron. And this is going to go the opposite way. Weta was fighting for position underneath. but was a little over-aggressive in trying to grab the loose ball. As we see Iowa with some changes to their rotation. Falter, Marshall, Martin, Clark, and Stolke, the 5 now in. Colorado goes with Whitaker, Smith, Sherrod, Sadler, and Weta. And that was the first on Weta and the team's 4th. So the shot clock is off. Caitlin Clark dribbling with 6 seconds and counting in the first quarter. Crossover dribble, gets bumped, gives up her dribble, 2 seconds. Bounce it to the cutting Stolke, who puts it up at the buzzer and lays it in with the right hand. Textbook. Hannah Stolke off the feed from Caitlin Clark, who has 6 assists alone in quarter number 1. And it's an 8-point lead for the Iowa Hawkeyes, 22-14.
Two things can be true. I'm with Colorado head coach J.R. Payne. I thought Caitlin Clark got away with a shuffle of the feet, but it also was a ridiculously insane on-point pass across the lane into Hannah Stolke.
She threaded the needle. There may be some clothing that is being drawn up in this next timeout. As that is the end of the first quarter, it's Iowa 22, Colorado 14. From the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, this is the Women's Basketball Tournament.
The strength of America, our values, our way of life hasn't just been won on the battlefield. It's won every day in our communities when we come together, extending hands of compassion, service, and hope to those who need it most. For over 100 years, the American Legion has been strengthening communities across our nation by providing life-saving help and support to our veterans and neighbors during times like we're facing today. It's what the Legion's all about. From blood drives to distributing food, from responding to emergencies and protecting the most vulnerable among us. Our mission is making America's communities stronger.
We are one family, and therefore, we care.
We are the American Legion, veterans strengthening America. To learn how you can help, visit legion.org.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
From now through the national championship game, you can hear the live stream of the NCAA Women's Tournament on WestwoodOneSports.com, sponsored by Wendy's. Get a Dave's single for just $1 and a Dave's double for just $2 with the offers in the Wendy's app. Wendy's, the official hamburger of March Madness. Limited time offer at participating U.S. Wendy's. Redeem in Wendy's app. Account registration required. See offer in Wendy's app for details. Lance Meadow, Kim Adams with you here in Albany, MVP Arena. And it is Iowa leading Colorado 22-14 after one. 12 of Colorado's 14 points have come in the paint. That is because they are 0 for 6 from beyond the arc. Very similar to UCLA's struggles in game 1 against LSU that the Tigers won. But Caitlin Clark, it's hard enough, Kim, to slow her down when she's looking to shoot. Now she's looking to spread the wealth in this game. She has 6 of Iowa's 7 assists in the first 10 minutes of play.
Yeah, I think Caitlin Clark has done a really nice job of just staying patient in this game, seeing how Colorado is choosing to defend her. She's seen a couple of different looks. She's seen different primary defenders. I do think Colorado has shored up the defense in terms of showing her some double teams and some more pressure off of screens, but as a result, she's staying disciplined and passing out of those. So 6 points, 6 assists for Caitlin Clark. 7 of Iowa's 10 field goals have been assisted. They continue to be very efficient here to start the game.
Stay up to date with the NCAA Tournament by following Westwood One Sports on X. We'll be posting highlights, tip-off alerts, and most importantly, direct links to listen to your favorite team live. Follow Westwood One Sports on X today.
Do you call it X? I still call it Twitter.
I call it Twitter as well. But when the card says X, we follow the card, Kim.
Absolutely.
Those are the rules of thumb here from the broadcast booth.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
I wasn't necessarily insinuating that, but it's a fair question. I'm old school like you. We have our ways. We stick to them. But to be politically correct, it is called X. Yes.
You post to Facebook. I post to Instagram.
Well,
we cover all grounds.
I was thinking maybe you were bringing our producer, Dave Hagan, into the conversation with that Facebook
He posts
reference.
on LinkedIn.
Do we dare bring Instagram into the conversation? Or we'll leave that perhaps for the second half?
That's my platform.
Oh, that's yours.
Yeah.
Okay. Excusez-moi. Iowa in possession here to start the second quarter, up by 8. Martin gets it to a curling Clark off the right elbow. Tightly guarded by Sherrod. Clark gives up her dribble. Passes it to Martin. Cuts down the right side lane. Across the lane to Stokey. Misses on the bunny. Just overshot the rim. Loose ball picked up by Martin. Lays it in with the right hand. Great hustle by Kate Martin. And it's Iowa up by 10. Its largest lead of the game. 24-14 over Colorado here early on in the second.
Kate Martin's been aggressive. She didn't have the best shooting night in that West Virginia game. 7 points. Not very efficient. So she's been aggressive.
Vonleh down low on the right post. High arcing floater. Overshot the rim, just hit glass. Rebounded by Stokey, outlet to Clark. She's got 6 points and 6 assists. Clark through the leg dribble. Working right side of the lane, Sherrod falls, bounce it to Stokey, again across the lane, and this time, Stokey makes it count, plus the foul. Hannah Stokey utilizing her entire length and frame to make it a 26-14 Iowa lead with a free throw pending here in Albany.
And Caitlin Clark just continues to dice up the Colorado defense. Jalen Sherrod actually fell down, got tripped up. Caitlin Clark pulls over Vonleh and passes right across to Stokey. 7 assists for Miss Clark.
Vonleh picking up the personal as Stokey knocks it through. Along with Kim Adams, I'm Lance Meadow here on Westwood One. You're listening to the NCAA Women's Regional Semifinal presented by Intuit TurboTax. 27-14, Iowa leads Colorado in this 1-5 matchup as the Hawkeyes come in with 31 wins, Buffaloes at 24, and Colorado has been setting the tone with its defense throughout the season, but right now they're having a hard time slowing down this Iowa offense that's outscoring them 5-0 in the second. Foreman's jumper from the free throw line bounces off the back iron. Nolan grabs the rebound left side, back out to Foreman, or left side of the lane 3, off the mark. Sherrod comes out of nowhere, grabs the rebound. Had a wide open look from the right corner, gives it up to Weta. They play catch. Sherrod still has it right wing. Up on the wing is Foreman, pulls up right elbow jumper, skims the back iron. Martin boxes out Whitaker, grabs the rebound, outlet goes to Clark, and it's still a 13-point lead for the Hawkeyes.
Those were all really good looks.
Clark off the crossover from way downtown left wing. Off the right side of the rim, Whitaker grabs the rebound, loses her footing. They get a caller on the travel. It will stay with Iowa. Do you love golf? Turn your passion into a profession. Get started at pga.org/work in golf.
And before we saw Caitlin Clark pull up for that 3, was starting to say Colorado continues to get good looks. They just are still cold. 25% shooting for the Buffaloes.
And 0 for 7 from beyond the arc. Clark tried to inbound it. It was a kick ball from the right baseline. So everybody will go back to their respective spots. Clark is opposite the Colorado bench. Right side, lobs it to Martin, and now Nolan read it beautifully, deflected it out of play. So we'll try for a 3rd time to inbound here on Iowa's side of the court. And now Clark will not inbound. They're going to mix things up. A falter from the near right sideline with 29 on the shot clock. Bounces it to Martin, tries to thread the needle of Clark, broken up by Weta. It's a 2-on-1 break. Weta down the right side lane, hesitates on the pass, the scoop shot just off glass, rebounded and cleaned up underneath as Colorado came through with Brianna McLeod, the 6'3 sophomore, who was in the right place at the right time to make it 27-16. Iowa, though, still leading. A falter sealed off right corner, tightly guarded by Foreman. Up on the sideline is Clark. Stokey comes over, sets a screen. Clark doesn't come around it. Step back right wing three, and just right in the face of Kendall Weta. Caitlin Clark's got 9, and it's now a 13-2 run for Iowa. They got a 30-16 advantage.
And that was Clark's first 3 of the game. Not much you could have done better to defend that. Just a tough shot from the all-time leading scorer.
Weta trying to return the favor around the rim a few times and in on a straightaway 3. 30-19, Iowa still in front of Colorado. And that is the first made 3 of the game for the Buffaloes. A Falter high on the left side, tightly guarded by Foreman. Hands off to Clark. She's at the logo. Crossover dribble. Through the legs, dancing with Sherrod with 14 on the shot clock around a Stokey screen. Back to the bucket off the right elbow. No-look feed to Stokey. Stokey, though, loses the ball. Colorado just takes it right away in the form of Weta. Buffalo's looking to push. Weta, coast to coast, the scoop shot no good. And then on the rebound by McLeod, they're going to get a foul. The Iowa crowd is not loving that. And it is going to stay on the Buffalo's end.
Yeah, that was a late whistle. I think they actually did call it on the shot attempt. The call just came pretty late against Kate Martin, who I did think there was some contact there. So Weta will go to the line for 2.
And that is going to be the second on Martin and the team's first. Lance Meadow, Kim Adams here at our Granger courtside seats at MVP Arena. When you need products in a pinch, Granger's got you covered. Get same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. Call, click Granger.com or stop by to get what your business needs. First attempt, off the mark. Weta getting set for another 70% free throw shooter. She hits the second. 30-20. Iowa leads Colorado with 6:42 to go in the first half. As Caitlin Clark dribbles out to the right wing, fakes the handoff, drives down the lane. Sherrod knocked it loose, and Sherrod is besides herself because they're going to get a reach-in on Sherrod. And that is going to be her first and the team's second.
We're taking a look at the replay. Yep. At first glance, it looked like Caitlin may have sold it a little bit, but the replay we saw, Jalen Sherrod got a handful on Caitlin's bicep.
And a little bit of the armpit in the process too, Kim. As a Falter drives right baseline off the inbounds, gives up her dribble, bounce pass, down low to O'Grady. O'Grady working off the left post on McLeod. Awkward floater, short, grabs her own miss, and will kick it out to Feuerbach to reset. Feuerbach back inside to O'Grady. It didn't work the first time. It works the second time. 32-20. Quick pass up ahead to Weta, and Weta draws the blocking foul against Iowa as she was maneuvering on the left baseline. That'll be the second team foul on the Hawkeyes. So Sherrod will inbound underneath her own bucket, left baseline. Opposite the Iowa bench, goes across the lane to Weta. Quick release on the layup attempt, around the rim and out, but she was fouled, so Weta will earn yet another trip to the charity stripe. So that'll be the third team foul on Iowa. No fees or minimums, and no overdraft fees are another reason banking with Capital One is the easiest decision. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One, NA member, FDIC. First attempt, no good. Colorado 3 of 7 from the line today, and you can make it 4 of 8. 32-21, Iowa leading Colorado with just over 6 minutes to go in the second quarter of this Sweet 16 matchup. Iowa with a Falter, Feuerbach, O'Grady, Marshall, and Clark. On defense, Foreman, Weta, McLeod, Nolan, and Sherrod, who takes the ball away off the entry pass. Sherrod back the other way, kicks it out to Foreman. Wide open 3, up and in. Frida Foreman, the sharpshooter for the Buffaloes, delivers her 80th 3 of the season, and it's 32-24. Iowa still in front. Clark comes around an O'Grady screen, the runner with the right hand, and easily banks it in. Caitlin Clark makes difficult shots. That's simple. 11 points for her in a 34-24 game. Pull-up jumper by Sherrod in the lane for Colorado, make it 34-26. Iowa in command.
Sherrod continues to be the spark. She had a steal on the other end, the assist on the three, and now gets one herself.
Clark dribbling down the left side of the lane and lays it in with the left hand. She is dangerous off the dribble. Clark's got 13, and it's 36-26. Iowa up by 10.
She's really hurting them off of drives. There has to be a help defender that meets her higher up in the lane. You can't let her get all the way to the rim.
The leading scorer in the nation, as advertised here in Albany, New York. Sherrod dancing with the ball, backs up to the three-point line. Out to Weta, right wing three, skims the front of the rim, and it bounces right into the hands of a Falter. So with 4.5 minutes to go, Iowa nursing a 10-point lead. Feuerbach, right wing, driving on Foreman, sealed off on the baseline. The ball was knocked out of play. Foreman touched it last, and that means it is going to stay with the Hawkeyes. And with that, we've got a break of the action. Timeout on the floor, Iowa 36, Colorado 26. You are listening to the Women's Basketball Tournament on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. That's Barbasol Shaving Cream, an American classic for over 100 years. Close Shave America, Close Shave Barbasol.
Barbasol. Progressive presents Renters MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Emily Neal's 70-inch TV. Because after watching her second-grade students yell at each other for hours, there's nothing Emily enjoys more than watching super-rich housewives also yell at each other. Why? Because those women are not her responsibility. And that's why her TV is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
This March, Wendy's has some amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
Basketball champion Stephen Curry and soccer superstar Alex Morgan want you to join the PGA Junior League team.
PGA Junior League is a fun team golf experience for kids that the entire family can enjoy.
Boys and girls learn the game from PGA and LPGA professionals and have a great time with friends.
Find your team and get ready for a fun and exciting PGA Junior League season.
I want to see you out playing in your jersey and having fun.
Visit PGAJuniorLeague.com.
To win in basketball takes a can-do spirit. So shave with Barbasol and inspire your team. Raise that red, white, and blue can and yell, "We can do this." If it doesn't work, you still got a great shave. Barbasol, it's a can of can-do.
It's time for the Coles Fact of the Game. Caitlin Clark, Gabby Marshall, and Kate Martin have started 133 games together, second most in the last 25 years. The most ever, the trio of Bria Beal, Aaliyah Boston, and Zia Cook from South Carolina, who started 136 contests. That's the Fact of the Game, sponsored by Kohl's. It's a new season at Kohl's. Find fresh, everyday styles for you and your home at great prices. Shop Kohl's and Kohl's.com today. Lance Meadow, Kim Adams with you here in Albany, New York, MVP Arena. Second game of our double dip here in the Sweet 16. Top-ranked Iowa leading number 5 seed Colorado 36-26 with 4:28 to go in the second quarter. Caitlin Clark has 13 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and what makes Iowa even more difficult to handle, Kim, is the fact that everybody else is chipping in and taking advantage of when Caitlin draws doubles and triple teams.
You were comparing me to Caitlin Clark there,
I was.
so that's
yes.
high praise. But absolutely, I mean, that's
that was
why...
an intentional slip of the tongue, by the way.
That's exactly why she's so dangerous, because you really have to pick your poison. Are you allowing her to score more easily, or when you're sending her double teams, she's been really effective at reading the defense and getting the dump downs. What's very important when you play Iowa is the help side defense, the rotation defense, because multiple times in this game, Caitlin Clark has gotten into the lane, she's drawn the secondary defender, and then it's been an easy dump down for layup. So that rotation has to be locked in to try to take away that dump down pass into the inside.
Iowa to inbound, 15 on the shot clock. Clark rolls it to Marshall, who catches up with it on the right wing. Top of the key to Feuerbach. 11 on the shot clock. To the curling of Falter, dribbles right to left, stops in the lane, the drop step, goes back to her right, and lays it in. Sydney Falter has been spectacular in the absence of the injured Molly Davis, and it's a 38-26 Iowa lead.
Lisa Bluter told us and told Sydney she thought she should have been the Big Ten Sixth Player of the Year. She was not, and now she's thriving in the starting lineup.
Whitaker turns and fires the left elbow jumper. Long rebound. It goes to Nolan. And Colorado will reset. Nolan steps back, right wing three, bounces off the back iron. Rebounded by Feuerbach, outlet to Marshall. Iowa slowing things down, up by 12 with 3:40 to go in quarter number 2. Caitlin Clark working high in the right wing. Driving on Weta. In slow motion, she lets it fly and lays it in. Caitlin Clark with ease is up to 15, and it's 40-26. All Hawkeyes.
It really is like a slow motion glide multiple times this afternoon, just getting to that right side.
Pull-up jumper by Sadler from the right elbow, drops it through. Tadia Sadler makes it a 40-28 game as Iowa still in command of this one with 3 minutes in the second quarter. Clark fires one to Stolke left side, cross the field, goes in the right corner to a Falter who is fouled as she drives right baseline. And a Falter will head to the line for 2. Stay with us for the Wendy's NCAA Tournament halftime report. JB Long will recap game 1 here in Albany and look ahead to Portland. That's coming up at the half, sponsored by Wendy's, the official hamburger of March Madness. So a Falter, 85% on the season, as Iowa has hit its last 5 field goals and is shooting 62% from the field. As Nolan picked up the last foul. A Falter, nothing but net on the first attempt. She has scored in double figures 4 of the last 5 coming into this contest. That's why they have not been hurt that much by Molly Davis's injury, Kim, as a Falter cashes in on both.
Yeah, Falter has maybe brought even more into the starting lineup. She certainly brings more size. Molly Davis 5'7", a Falter 5'11". They've lost a little bit of depth.
42-28, Iowa leads. Sadler stops left side of lane. Cross-court feed to Foreman. Puts up the 3 from the right wing and splashes it through. Frida Foreman, no matter who is up in her grill, is able to take advantage in a 42-31 game as Iowa leads. Hawkeyes in a half-court set. Stolke down low on the right post, goes up. McLeod challenges her again, but on the second block attempt, made contact with her hand, so Stolke will head to the line.
Colorado has brought a lot of size and a lot of physicality into the post against Hannah Stolke. It doesn't seem like she has 7 points. She does have that many, but they have made things difficult for her on every catch.
A reminder that Westwood One Sports is also your exclusive home for complete NCAA men's tournament action from now through the Final Four in Phoenix. You can listen to all the action on many of these same stations online at westwoodonesports.com or via the free Varsity Network app on your mobile device. Stolke missed the first, makes the second. So Stolke now is up to 8. 43-31, Iowa leading Colorado. 2:21 to go in the second quarter. Foreman fakes left, dribbles right, swings it over to Weta high in the left wing. Bounces it to McLeod. Left post, across the lane, down low, gets it inside to Weta, who lays it up and in. Kendall Weta shipping it on the offensive side of the ball, and then quickly back the other way. A Falter gets behind the Colorado D. She gets a wide open lay-in. 45-33, Iowa in front.
And it was another bullet pass in transition right into the layup in stride. Caitlin Clark, another assist.
Around the perimeter it goes. Weta has it right corner, up on the perimeter. Is Sadler, top of the key. Sherrod stops left elbow, out to Foreman. She's got 2 threes. She's going to stay that way off the left side of the rim. McLeod grabs the rebound. Trapped in the right corner, tried to get it out to Weta, intercepted by Marshall, who has the ball poked out from behind. Sadler picks it up, so Colorado still back on its half-court set. Sherrod, baseball pass left corner to Weta, spins, gets it to Foreman. 20 on the shot clock. Foreman dribbles left to right, stops in the lane, back out to Weta. She's beyond the arc left wing. Top of the key is Foreman, 13 on the shot clock. Left side of the lane, is Sadler, and then on the handoff to Weta called for a travel, and that is going to give the ball back to Iowa. That's turnover number 4 for the Buffaloes.
Iowa has switched up some defensive looks. They've gone with a zone in a couple of possessions like that one there. Colorado doing their best to attack it, but have to stay poised on the passes.
Iowa has hit 6 of its last 7 field goal attempts. Clark off the handoff from Stolke. Leaves it back for Stolke, who extends towards the right side of the lane. Can't finish on the lay-in attempt, but she once again draws yet another foul, and more free throws coming up here for the Hawkeyes.
And a frustrated Jalen Sherrod, who kind of grabbed the ball with 2 hands and hit it to the ground a couple of times. Caitlin Clark, Hannah Stolke have grown that connection so well after many years of Caitlin playing with Monica Sonano at the 5.
Sherrod picks up her second. It's the team's 5th. Stolke is 2 of 3 today. She'll go to 3 of 4 as Taylor McCabe is in the game for the Hawkeyes, with Stolke getting set for the second free throw attempt, and she pushes it through. 47-33, Iowa leading Colorado with 56 seconds and counting here in the second quarter. Sadler between the circles, pull-up right elbow jumper with a defender in her face off the right side of the rim. McLeod the rebound. Too strong off the left side. Weta and Stolke get tied up, and we're going to get a foul. And they're going to say that Weta was a bit over-aggressive, fighting for the loose ball with Stolke.
I'm pretty sure Caitlin Clark just tried to check herself in there for the for the final offensive possession. She ran to the table, then realized it was a free throw, so she sent herself back.
And Lisa Bluter is actually hysterical on the bench right now, looking down at Clark as she tried to pull a fast one on her own coach. So Stolke to the line again for 2. No good off the back iron. Weta picked up her second. Iowa now as a team is 6 of 9 from the line, as Colorado has 4 players with 2 personal fouls, and Stolke drops it through on the second. 48-33. Iowa up by 15 over Colorado. Buffalo's in possession. McLeod left baseline, back to the bucket, gives up her dribble, lobs it to Sadler, bounce pass back to McLeod off the left elbow. Swings it right wing to Sadler, 14 on the shot clock. Down the right side of the lane, high off the glass around the rim and out, rebounded by Weta. Gets it out to Nolan, straightaway 3, rattles around the rim and out. Sadler the rebound, power dribble, banks it in as it rolls around the rim for a fraction of a second and falls through. 48-35, one of the smallest players on the court, crashing the offensive glass. And with 11 seconds and counting, Iowa can hold for the final shot of the first half. Feuerbach, left side, bounce it to Stolke, hands back to Feuerbach. She loses her footing. Weta picks it up 1 second, gives it up to Foreman. No shot will be released, even though Foreman just drilled a 3 well after, I should say, the clock expired. So both of these teams are going to head back to the locker room with Iowa in front of Colorado, 48-35. There's a Hawkeyes team, Kim, that shot 61% from the field, and Caitlin Clark filled up the stat sheet. She had 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 assists.
Yeah, I thought Colorado did come out with defensive intensity, but maybe not fully keyed in onto personnel and strategies. And I thought Iowa just took control early in that game. And, of course, Caitlin Clark has been the straw stirring the drink for so many of these points and efficiencies that we've seen from Iowa in the opening 20.
And everybody else for Iowa sitting at the bar and enjoying those drinks. The end of the first half, Iowa 48, Colorado 35. When we return, we'll rejoin JB Long in our studios for the Wendy's halftime report from the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. This is the Women's Basketball Tournament.
Your home for analysis and reaction of ACC teams in the NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament is ACC Today.
Knocks it down and pumps her fist.
Join us weekdays from 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM ACC Radio. We'll be breaking down the action with ACC basketball experts like Dallin Cuff.
That team is going to be a tough out.
John Henson.
Everybody's got a chance.
Plus, we'll be talking to players and coaches as they advance through March. Weekdays from 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern on ACC Radio, Channel 371.
That is huge.
Experience the excitement of the men's and women's NCAA basketball tournaments on SiriusXM and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The 1 seed to the brink and holds on.
Search March Madness to hear Westwood One's coverage of all the games.
Holy smokes,
want to play. Plus pre- and post-game shows. And get analysis on basketball and beyond with Coach K. Get radio channels for your games at SiriusXM.com/sports or search March Madness on the all-new SiriusXM app. The Women's NCAA Tournament is on SiriusXM.
It is going to be fun. It is going to be interesting.
For the best guests,
Caitlin Clark. I feel like we're playing really good basketball right now.
And coverage of March Madness. Tune in to SiriusXM Big Ten Radio from the biggest stars.
Holmes, left-handed layup. She's got another 30-piece.
To the top teams. We've got you covered through the National Championship in Cleveland. It's all on SiriusXM Big Ten Radio, Channel 372, and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hey, college football fans, this is Jacob Hester. All season long, we've followed the stars of tomorrow on College Sports Radio. And now we'll help you get ready for their next step, the 2024 NFL Draft. Every Thursday, check out a new episode of Draft Central on the SiriusXM app when Rhett Lewis interviews the top draft prospects as they work through the Senior Bowl, Combine, and ultimately wait to hear their name called in Detroit this April. Our team of experts on College Sports Radio gets you closer to the NFL Draft on SiriusXM Channel 84 and the SiriusXM app.
Welcome to the Wendy's NCAA Tournament Halftime Report. Get a Dave's single for just $1 and a Dave's double for just $2 with the offers in the Wendy's app. Wendy's, the official hamburger of March Madness. Limited time offer at participating U.S. Wendy's. Redeem in Wendy's app. Account registration required. See offer in Wendy's app for details. Once again, here's your host, J.B. Long.
Halftime in Albany 2, where Iowa shoots 61% from the floor and leads Colorado 48-35. The Buffs' only lead was at 1-0. Caitlin Clark tops all scores with 15 points and 8 assists. Our first game from Albany was a clash between LSU's bid to go back-to-back and UCLA's goal of reaching the program's first Final Four. Early second quarter, LSU was the first to create some separation.
Van Lith across the court, gets it to Johnson. Johnson doesn't have the numbers, flares out on the right baseline. Down the baseline, spins, twirls, and throws it in. Flage Johnson is a rapper, and it's poetry in motion here on the court. 23-18 LSU with a timeout taken by the Bruins. They are on their feet off the LSU bench as the defending champs adding a little breathing room.
Now, Johnson scoring 13 of LSU's first 32 points, while UCLA started 1 of 16 from behind the arc. Did find their range, finally, in a bounce-back third quarter.
Cameron Brown chases it down, outlet up ahead to Osborne. 2-on-1 break, Osborne to the right corner to Jones, her three, up and in. Their first lead since 18-17 with 9:09 to go in the second quarter. The Bruins are back in business. 45-44 over the defending champs, and it's London Bridges doing the heavy lifting.
Now, UCLA went from down 7 at the break to tied up heading to the fourth quarter. Let's get to the final minute. It's a one-possession game, and LSU has the lead and has the ball.
Van Lith dribbling out to the right wing. She's beyond the arc, gives up her dribble in front of her own bench to Reese off the right elbow. Gets a clear out, working on Betts. Dribbles right to left, denied by Betts, who reached over her and swatted it away. Johnson picks it up, 4 on the shot clock. Down the right sideline, the scoop shot, up and in underneath Betts. 72-68 LSU. UCLA back the other way. Rice pushes off, offensive foul as she took Van Lith for the ride, and that is going to be her 5th and final foul. Rice is going to watch from the bench.
And the Bruins missed their final 8 attempts from the floor, just did not shoot it well enough to beat a team of LSU's talent and experience. For Johnson, it's her first double-double since November. 24 points, 12 rebounds. She has caught fire for LSU here in March. Final score, 78-69. The 3-seed LSU defeats the 2 UCLA. Angel Reese, last year's most outstanding player, scored 16 points and grabbed 11 rebounds before fouling out late.
Well, apparently people thought that we were just a bunch of individuals. So we took that personal, and we have stars on our team. We do. And people don't think that we're supposed to gel together. And we've gelled together all year. The best team won tonight. Also, the best individuals on the team won as well. Let's get that straight.
LSU awaits the winner of our second game in Albany, where Iowa has a 13-point halftime lead over Colorado, 48-35. Next, we will preview the Portland region, which has a top seed in USC and the lowest remaining seed in the tournament, Duke. You're listening to the Women's Basketball Tournament on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
This March, Wendy's has some amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's, official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
Jeff, I'm standing courtside where this team is about to celebrate a staggering win here in the fourth quarter. I just spoke with the team captain, who told me they owe it all to Kohl's, where fans found the license gear, game day hosting fines, and other essentials they needed to rally this team to victory. He said, quote, "Great brands, great prices. Discover it all at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Back to you."
Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Tournament on Westwood One from the Progressive Insurance Studios. I'm JB Long. Protect your home and auto. Save when you bundle. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Halftime in Albany. Iowa 48, Colorado 33. The Hawkeyes played with the lead for all but 25 seconds of that opening half. Coming up in Portland 3, we've got the 7-seed Duke and the 3-seed UConn. For the Blue Devils, they're the lowest remaining seed in the field. For UConn last year, the Huskies had their streak of 14 consecutive Final Four appearances and 16 straight Elite Eights snapped when Ohio State beat them 73-61. Head coach Gino Auriemma was asked if that loss in Seattle still lingers in the minds of this group.
Well, half the team wasn't here last year, so if it's hanging over, it's only hanging over half of them. So let's hope the other half don't know what happened last year. That's the beauty of playing in the NCAA tournament is if you won last year, you have to put that behind you. That's not going to help you win this year. And if you lost last year, you have to put that behind you because that doesn't mean you're going to lose this year. Each and every tournament game, each and every year takes on kind of a life on its own, and you have to either be good enough to win that day or you're not going to win.
That's our finale. First in Portland, a 1-5 pairing with USC and Baylor. The last time the Trojans were in the Sweet 16, 1994. Cheryl Miller was the head coach. Lisa Leslie was a senior. Also tonight, the men's Elite Eight continues. Our coverage begins at 5 p.m. Eastern on Westwood One. In the East, it's the 3 Illinois and the 1 UConn. The Huskies looking to repeat the top seed in the tournament. They've trailed for just 28 seconds throughout this dance. And then in the West, in Los Angeles, it's a 6-4 matchup. Clemson and Alabama. One of those programs will reach the Final Four for the first time. This has been the Wendy's NCAA Tournament Halftime Report. Get a Dave's single for just $1 and a Dave's double for just $2 with the offers in the Wendy's app. Wendy's, the official hamburger of March Madness. Limited time offer at participating U.S. Wendy's. Redeem in Wendy's app. Account registration required. See offer in Wendy's app for details. Back to Albany after this short break for the second half between Iowa and Colorado. From the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, this is the Women's Basketball Tournament.
The NBA playoffs are right around the corner, and you can hear the best matchups and wall-to-wall coverage on NBA Radio Channel 86.
Driving through the rim, got there, lays it up and in!
We're getting you ready for the postseason with our experts all day, every day.
This is what playoff basketball is, man. This ain't about pretty stuff.
Defensively, they have zero weaknesses.
The NBA postseason starts April 16th, and your home for all the action is NBA Radio Channel 86 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Throughout March, Coach K breaks down the NCAA Tournament on SiriusXM.
To me, the hardest game a coach has to win is the Elite Eight.
Hear men's college basketball's winningest coach share his unique perspective.
The most pressure that a coach has, he not only sees the promised land, he knows the bridge that you have to go over.
It's Basketball and Beyond with Coach K. Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 5 Eastern on College Sports Radio Channel 84 in the car and the all-new SiriusXM app.
It's March, and that means the college basketball season is reaching its apex.
Hammers it down!
Tune in to ACC Today, weekdays from 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern for reactions and analysis of ACC men's basketball teams in the NCAA Tournament. We'll have expert breakdowns from Dallin Cuff.
They are shooting the heck out of the ball.
John Henson.
They're going to be a team to be reckoned with.
Wes Durham.
40 minutes to beat somebody one time.
Plus, we'll hear from players and coaches as they advance through the madness. SiriusXM ACC Radio and streaming on the new and improved SiriusXM app.
Experience the excitement of the men's and women's NCAA basketball tournaments on Sirius XM and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The 1 seed to the brink and holds on.
Search March Madness to hear Westwood One's coverage of all the games.
Holy smokes, what a play!
Plus pre- and post-game shows and get analysis on basketball and beyond with Coach K. Get radio channels for your games at SiriusXM.com/sports or search March Madness on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Westwood One presents Great Moments in Tournament History.
March 31st, 2023, the women's Final Four in Dallas, featuring the best player in the women's game in Iowa's Caitlin Clark against the nation's top team, undefeated and defending champion South Carolina, who entered the game riding a 42-game winning streak. Clark averaged 30 points per game in her first 4 tourney games, including the first ever triple-double in women's tournament history. But as the stage got bigger, so did Clark's performance.
64-62, Iowa deep three. Caitlin Clark, top of the key. Oh, she hit it again. You gotta be kidding me. Clark from way outside with a hand in her face. It doesn't matter. 67-62, Iowa with 7:12 to go. Clark's got 31.
Clark finished the game with 41 points to set a national semifinal record, and the Hawkeyes prevailed 77-73 to advance to the championship game for the first time in school history. They would fall to LSU, but Clark set records for the most points in a Final Four, providing fans with a bevy of great moments in tournament history. I'm Kevin Kugler.
Lance Meadow, Kim Adams back here with you in Albany, New York, MVP Arena, as Iowa leads Colorado 48-35 at the break. Let's check the halftime stats, sponsored by Pure Silk Shave Cream from the makers of Barbasol. Pure Silk's rich and luxurious shave cream will leave your legs looking and feeling like pure silk. It was a balanced attack for the Hawkeyes. Caitlin Clark, of course, atop the list with 15 points to go along with 8 assists and 3 rebounds, but Hannah Stolke had 11 on 3 of 7 shooting. Sydney Afalter filling in for the injured Molly Davis. 10 points. She did not miss a shot. She was 4 of 4 from the field. So 3 players in double digits scoring-wise for the Hawkeyes, who, as a team, shot a blistering 61% from the field. Colorado, in comparison, 34%. Nobody in double figures. It was Kendall Wetta leading the way with 7. She was 2 of 4 from the field. 6 points apiece for 3 different players, including Jalen Sherrod, who had the assignment of defending Caitlin Clark for the entire first half. But they just seemed to be, Kim, on opposite ends of the spectrum, given the fact that the pace of play was so much in favor of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, Iowa has been in complete control. I think certainly some changes needed here for Colorado.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, your home for the national championships.
Yo, it's Jacob Hester from Off Campus on College Sports Radio. For full breakdowns of this game and more, tune in weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern on Channel 84 or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
It's time for Kim's Keys to the Second Half, sponsored by NetSuite. Now through April 15th, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind flexible financing program. Head to netsuite.com/hoops right now. That's netsuite.com/hoops. All right, Kim, what are you looking for in the second half?
2 things offensively for Colorado. The three-point shooting has to be a bit improved. Their 2 best shooters, Frida Foreman, she is 2 of 5. Maddie Nolan, 0 of 3. Try to get those 2 some better looks. And then I thought early on they were finding good production inside, but a lot of their forwards, most of their forwards got 2 fouls early. Vonleh only played about 8 minutes. So I think once you get your starting forwards back in the game, feed them inside. And then for Iowa, not many changes. I would say they have to try to avoid lapses here in focus and also avoid the careless turnovers, the live ball turnovers. They did have 9 turnovers in the first half that allowed Colorado to score 8 points off of them. So everything else is pretty good for Iowa, but just can't have those lapses in focus and judgment.
So this is an Iowa team that is gearing up for a second half and perhaps an appearance against LSU in the Elite Eight. It's now time to find out which team will get the job done. Start of the second half, sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Indeed's video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit. So it will be Colorado basketball to start the third quarter. Foreman, Miller, Vonleh, Nolan, and Sherrod. They're 5 in. Iowa on defense, a Falter, Martin, Stolke, Marshall, and Clark. Sherrod working right elbow, tries to bounce it inside to Vonleh, stolen by Marshall, and another turnover. That is number 6 for the Buffaloes. Clark on the attack, bounces it to the cutting Martin, blocked underneath by Vonleh, who secures the ball. Outlet goes to Sherrod. Can Colorado cash in off a defensive stop? Nolan right wing, top of the key to Miller. Feeds it down low to Vonleh, lose the ball, saves it to Foreman. She's got 19 on the shot clock on the left wing. Back top to Miller. Vonleh takes over off the left elbow. Nolan comes off the right elbow, dribbles to the left elbow, tries to bounce it inside to the cutting Vonleh, intercepted by Stolke. Up ahead to Clark, down low to the cutting of Falter, count the bucket, plus the foul. The Iowa bench on its feet, and it's a 50-35 Hawkeyes advantage early in the third quarter.
If you were to open a visual digital dictionary of threading the needle, that pass would be in there from Caitlin Clark. It had to be thrown with such precision to go through 2 Colorado defenders who were in motion, perfectly in stride to a Falter who is still a bit shaken up after falling on that hard foul.
Foreman picks up the personal. That is her first, the team's first here in the third. A Falter will head to the line, an 85% free throw shooter. She is 2 for 3 today, and she already has 12 points. Second leading scorer for the Hawkeyes, and make it 13, as she has been able to finish around the rim this afternoon.
She's been so valuable, inserted in the starting lineup for the postseason in place of Molly Davis. She's really touched every aspect of the game, rebounding, assisting, scoring.
51-35, Iowa leads Colorado. Nolan off the curl, right wing, her 3 off the left side of the rim. Long rebound by Sherrod in the left corner. Saves it to Miller. Foreman takes over, left wing 3, puts it up, in and out. Loose ball tapped around. Clark comes down with it, and Clark is looking to push. Caitlin, behind the back dribble, through the legs. Dumps it off to Martin, left wing 3, cashes is in. And Kate Martin points to Caitlin Clark. Another assist for Caitlin. And it's a 54-35 lead for the Iowa Hawkeyes as the Hawkeyes faithful is on its feet here in Albany, New York. Caitlin's got 10 assists to go along with 15 points. Give her a double-double. We'll step aside with a break in the action. You're listening to the Women's Basketball Tournament on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
You lose weight, it comes back. You lose it again, it comes back again. If this cycle sounds familiar to you, there's a better, more sustainable way to lose weight. The Row Body Program pairs a weekly shot with healthy lifestyle changes so you can lose 15 to 20% of your weight in a year on average and actually keep it off. Over 200,000 people have already chosen Row to help them lose weight. Here's why. With Row, you'll have support throughout the process. Row's partner handles all of the insurance paperwork for you to help get your medication covered. And if you're eligible for prescription medication, you'll have access to your provider on demand for any questions. Plus, one of the best parts of the Body Program is that you can sign up online from the comfort of your own home. So sign up today, and you'll pay just $99 for your first month and $145 a month after that. Medication costs are separate. Go to row.co/hoops. That's ro.co/hoops.
When Cynthia came to TurboTax, she had just launched her new side gig, a true crime podcast.
I'm a first-rate detective with a golden voice.
As her TurboTax expert, I made her second income count by guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and her maximum refund.
What did she do with that refund? Find out next week.
Switch to Intuit TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
This March, Wendy's has some amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
From now through the national championship game, you can hear the live stream of the NCAA Women's Tournament on WestwoodOneSports.com. Sponsored by Wendy's. Get a Dave's single for just $1 and a Dave's double for just $2 with the offers in the Wendy's app. Wendy's, the official hamburger of March Madness. Limited time offer at participating U.S. Wendy's. Redeem in Wendy's app. Account registration required. See offer in Wendy's app for details. Lance Meadow, Kim Adams with you here. MVP Arena in Albany, New York. Number 1 seed Iowa leading 5th seed Colorado 54-35. Caitlin Clark has 10 assists to go along with 15 points. Her 10th double-double of the season, and she is picking and choosing her way through this Colorado defense because there are 3 other players that have scored in double figures, Kim, for the Hawkeyes.
The game is moving extremely slow from her eyes today. She is seeing everything play out in front of her. She's keeping the ball alive as she maneuvers through screens, seeing how they're defending it. She's perfectly kicking out at the right time. I'd say it's worth noting she has 4 rebounds. She's usually a bit more active going to the glass if there's a certain milestone she wants to hit today, something she's done a bunch of times in her career. Not going to give it the jinx just yet, but it has simply been remarkable to watch.
So the Iowa Hawkeyes in command here thanks to 62% shooting from the field. They're 4 of 10 from beyond the arc. Colorado is just 3 of 16 from downtown. Nobody has scored more than 7 points, and a defensive-minded team that can't really even rely on that facet of the game to dictate the tone here.
No, there's just been no answers, specifically when the ball is in Clark's hands. You have to try to make her feel a little bit more pressure, feel your physicality, whether you're trying to deny her more passes in, even as she's moving the ball up the floor, but she is completely comfortable in this game so far.
Colorado basketball out of the timeout. Nolan, Foreman, Vonleh, Sherrod, and Miller. Miller has it right corner, puts up the long jumper, and knocks it through. So Quay Miller showcasing her range, and that makes it a 54-38 game. Iowa's still in control of this one, and Colorado desperately needs a defensive stop. Stolke down low on the right baseline, facing up on Vonleh. Gives it up to Martin, sealed off by Foreman, hands off to Clark. Clark from way downtown, skims the front of the rim, rebounded by Miller. Colorado dodged a bullet on that one. Sherrod enters the front court, hands off to Nolan. Nolan back top to Foreman, over to Miller, left wing, she's beyond the arc. A lot of movement without the ball. Vonleh takes over, left elbow, hands off to Nolan, dribbles across the free throw line, stops right elbow. The backdoor cut by Sherrod, gets the feed, can't lay it in. Rebounded by Stolke, outlet to Clark. Clark surveying the field, working between the circles. Will slow things down as she looks over to her own bench. Dribbling out to the right wing, tightly guarded by Sherrod. Comes around a Martin screen right to left. Floats it to Stolke down the right side of the lane. On Vonleh, can't get it to roll away on the floater. Vonleh the rebound, outlet to Sherrod. Sherrod enters the front court, slows things down. Right in front of the three-point line, left wing. Plays catch with Nolan. Sherrod takes over on the left sideline. Cross-court feed, Miller right side. Further down the wing is Foreman. Lobs it down low to Vonleh. Back to the bucket. Leans in and banks it in over Stolke. She just muscled her way on the interior. And it's 54-40. Colorado within 14 with 7 minutes to go in the third.
Why not do that every time? Isolate Vonleh. She's 3 of 4 from the floor.
Clark back to the bucket, spins down the right post and leans in for the bucket, just toying with Sherrod. Caitlin Clark has 17, and it's 56-40. Iowa Hawkeyes will not go away and give any breathing room to Colorado. A steal by Marshall. Outlet goes to Clark. Through the leg dribble. Clark comes around a screen, down the right side lane, wide open, the one-handed lay-in. Caitlin Clark with back-to-back buckets. She's got 19. And it's 58-40, and the crowd here wearing Hawkeyes gear is just absolutely loving it.
And it was Clark who actually had the steal and then brought it back all the way.
Clark grabs the rebound off the miss by Vonleh and then is bumped by Foreman. That'll be the second team foul against the Buffaloes, and it will be number 2 on Foreman. So Iowa will inbound from the far right sideline. And clearly, as we look at the replay, Foreman interrupted the lane and the pathway for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, right into the body. Caitlin Clark shaking that right arm a little bit, taking a pretty tough hit in the open floor.
6:09 to go, third quarter. Iowa up by 18. Marshall on the right sideline. Bounce it to Clark, right corner. Dribbles underneath the bucket. Gets it to a cutting O'Grady. Her hook shot was partially blocked, and the ball deflected out of play. It was last touched by Colorado, so it will stay with the Hawkeyes. They'll have 14 on the shot clock here. It almost feels, Kim, as if Caitlin Clark, excuse me, that was some combo, is playing at a different speed than the rest of everybody else on the court here as the inbounds goes to O'Grady, and then she tried to get it back to Clark, knocked out of play by Colorado.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark is just smooth with it today. Completely in control, letting things develop.
Clark feeds it into the cutting Martin. Short on the right-handed floater. On the floor, Vonleh grabs the ball, gives it up to Miller. Outlet up ahead to Sherrod. Sherrod going coast to coast. Double clutch floater, bounces around the rim and out. She will earn a trip to the free throw line as Sherrod is picking up the pace for this Buffalo squad.
And it's interesting now, a couple times here at the second half, Jalen Sherrod has taken off the mask, put it back on. The mask is now back off, so I don't know if it kind of impacts her mentally or different identities out there.
She'll head to the line. The women's Final Four heads to Cleveland next weekend, and you could be there to experience the elite competition and pinnacle of women's basketball. Limited tickets are still available at ncaa.com/WBB tickets. Marshall picked up her first personal. First attempt for Sherrod off the mark. She comes in at 78%, and the second one is up and in. She makes one of two. 58-41. Iowa leading Colorado as we approach 5.5 minutes here in the third. Feuerbach from the left wing. Tried to get a bounce pass to Martin. Ball rolled out of play. It was last touched by Colorado. Sherrod was so frustrated, she came over towards our table and smacked her hand down. Luckily, did not disrupt our programming. That's the most important aspect here. Inbounds to Clark, off a pump, gives it to Marshall, tries to get it back to the cutting Clark. Foreman knocks it loose. Foreman out into the open court, down low underneath to Sherrod, lays it in on the left side. Colorado getting in the way of this Iowa offense, and it's a 58-43 game with 5:15 to go in the third.
A disruptive.
As Clark puts it up from the right wing, you never know when she's going to release. Off the left side of the rim, rebounded by Vonleh. Foreman slows things down in the front court left wing. Bounce pass high to Vonleh, picks it up. Back out to Foreman. They'll reset now with Sherrod at the top of the key. Feuerbach playing off of her. Sherrod spins right to left, bounces it to Vonleh, left all alone, lays it in, inch by inch. Colorado making headway, 58-45. Iowa still leads.
And the defense is starting to fuel them a little bit. Their best shot at getting back in this game is to be disruptive on this end of the floor.
Marshall, right side of the lane jumper, off the left side of the rim, rebounded by Miller, outlet to Sherrod. Sherrod sees the open court, the Euro step, stops in the lane, the floater, and they're going to wave it off. An offensive foul on Jalen Sherrod, who is pleading with the officiating crew and saying she beat Iowa to the spot. To no avail. Both teams head back to their respective benches. Timeout on the floor, 4:30 to go in the third. It is 58-45 Iowa over Colorado. You're listening to the Women's Basketball Tournament on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
Business has always been about turning a profit, making money. But can it stand for something more? Something beyond dollars and cents? We think so. We think that today, business has a higher calling, a purpose to be fair and just, to do right by their workers, customers, communities, and the environment. And it turns out companies successful doing that also do better for their bottom line. When you see the Just Capital seal, it means this company is a force for good. Visit justcapital.com to learn more.
Where are my basketball fans at? Welcome to Fandom 101. The NCAA men's hoop season is here, meaning it's time for you to bring a little charisma and chaos for your squad. Be the sixth man in the stand. NCAA Division I men's basketball. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/MVP tickets. Class dismissed.
This March, Wendy's has some amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's Wisely choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
Welcome back to our Grainger courtside seats at MVP Arena. Along with Kim Adams, I'm Lance Meadow. Winning teams know the value of a good sixth man. Count on Grainger when your business needs a boost off the bench. Call or click Grainger.com for supplies and solutions for every industry. Number 1 seed Iowa leading 5th seed Colorado 58-45 here with 4:30 to go in quarter number 3. And Caitlin Clark, who already has a double-double, 19 points, 10 assists, also has 5 rebounds. But as of late, Kim, it seems as if Colorado has a better feel on the defensive side of the ball because that has created some transition opportunities back on the opposite end.
Well, they've gotten back to their defensive intensity and their identity, which is to be disruptive. They are second in the Pac-12 in steals and turnovers forced. So we finally see them really tap into that. They've been able to get up the floor for some easier looks, and as a result, they've started to get some more points in the paint as they still struggle to shoot from the outside. But in a game like this, it may have to be ugly, but they've had success offense to defense.
Colorado just 4 of 17 from three-point range. They are 37% on the game. Caitlin Clark, just to give you an idea of her efficiency, normally she's known for her three-point prowess. She's 9 for 15 overall, 1 for 7 from beyond the arc, but she has not missed a two-pointer. She's 8 for 8.
And what's also maybe the most impressive number to me is a 0. She has 0 turnovers. And as I was looking up and down her game-by-game log, turnovers have been a problem for her as of late. Most of her recent games, she's had 4 or 5 turnovers. Today, she has 10 assists and 0 turnovers.
And a big reason why they have not given any gifts to Colorado as the Buffaloes trying to mount a comeback here. It is Iowa basketball. The Hawkeyes have to go the length of the court. Out of the timeout with Clark bringing it up. Gets it to a Falter, left wing, back top to Clark. Lobs it to Martin, left elbow. Tries to bounce it to Stolke. Stolke gets it, kicks it back out to Martin, right wing. 17 on the shot clock. Clark resets, top of the key to Martin in the lane. Turns, fires, and connects. Kate Martin, the bucket. Caitlin Clark, her 11th assist. And it's 60-45 Iowa.
And I got the exact analytic for you. Her last 10 games, she's had at least 5 turnovers.
More of a reason why that jumps off the page, and for good reasons this time. Foreman trying to lob it up to Vonleh, over her head, out of play. And that is going to be turnover number 10 for the Buffaloes. Iowa has scored 9 points off these mishaps, and here is an opportunity to add even more. Clark, bullet feed, intended for Martin off the left post, and there's her first turnover as Sadler gets in the way. We spoke too soon. Sadler cross-court feed to Foreman, left wing. Around a Vonleh screen, stops in the lane, gives it out to Sadler. Sadler stops at the free throw line to Miller, right wing, back top to Foreman. 15 on the shot clock for the Buffaloes. Vonleh holds the ball high above her head. Off the left elbow, feeds it to Foreman. Contested left wing 3, air ball. It goes into the hands of Weta. 6 on the shot clock. Weta, step back, long jumper, right wing, off the right side of the rim, rebounded by Clark. And Iowa will slow things down, heading back the other way. Iowa at 56% shooting from the field. Colorado 35. Martin above the free throw line. Gets tied up. We're going to get a jump ball. Weta and Sadler were able to draw the tie up. It will stay on this side of the court with Iowa. Along with Kim Adams, I'm Lance Meadow here on Westwood One. You're listening to the NCAA Women's Regional Semifinal presented by Intuit TurboTax. The winner of this game will face LSU on Monday night, the defending champs. Clark from the left baseline, underneath her own bucket. Top of the key to Martin, to McCabe, left wing. In the corner to Clark. Lets it fly and floats it in again. Quay Miller just stood there and watched in awe. It's 63-45. Caitlin Clark has 22.
That's what I'm saying. The all-time scorer in college basketball is inbounding the ball. You have to think they're trying to get it back to her. You can't just let her march to the corner and take an uncontested 3.
You give her an inch, she'll go the extra mile. As the ball was deflected out of play, Colorado will inbound underneath its own bucket from the left baseline. Sherrod to do the honors. Gets it underneath to Miller. She's sandwiched between 2 defenders. It rolls in and out. The second time is a charm. As she gets the putback to go, it ends a scoring drought of over 2 minutes and it's 63-47. Iowa in control. Clark dribbles out towards the right elbow, loses the ball. She's trapped near the sideline, saves it to Martin, middle of the court. Down the lane, the pull-up jumper bounces off the back iron, rebounded by Miller, and there was contact underneath as Stolke was trying to grab the loose ball. They're going to get Stolke on the foul.
And Colorado, last few possessions, have switched to a zone look, more of a 2-3, and it certainly has thrown Iowa off a little bit.
That was the third on Stolke, team second here in the third. So Stolke will now head to the bench. And in for her is A.J. Ediger, the 6'2 junior out of Michigan, who now has to D up Vonleh with Colorado in the front court. Sherrod in the lane to the cutting Miller. Her floater off the back iron, rebounded by Martin. Outlet to Clark. Clark in and out of traffic. Avoids the reach in by Miller. Crossover dribble with her in her face. She knocks it down again. Holds up three fingers. It's the Caitlin Clark experience. Who needs Lois on these adventures? 25 points. Her third three. And it's a 66-47 Iowa lead. Sadler underneath the bucket. Around the perimeter it goes. Sherrod, the jump pass to Weta. Weta bounces it to Sadler from the left corner. It bounces off the back iron. Rebounded by a Falter. She gives it up to Clark. Clark came up a little bit lame on that, but now will cross the timeline. Pull up from the logo for three, around the rim and out. Rebounded by Martin. It's a ricochet. Sadler comes up with it. 4-on-3 break. Sadler loses the ball. Who did touch last before it went out? They're going to say it went off of Iowa. It will stay with Colorado. I think everybody on the court touched the ball in some capacity on that one.
And Caitlin Clark can't believe the call. She put both hands up in the air and screamed no. She went right up to the official and questioning. But she is also hyping up this crowd, which has a fair amount of Iowa Hawkeye jerseys in it.
The inbounds goes to Nolan, who overshoots the rim from the right corner. Clark the rebound. Up ahead to a Falter, wide open, lays it in. Caitlin's got 12 assists, and it's 68-47 Iowa. Sherrod quickly back the other way. Her floater too hard and high off the glass, but there was contact, so Sherrod will be heading to the free throw line. You can hear every remaining moment of the NCAA Men's and Women's Tournament on Alexa. Just ask your device to open Westwood One Sports, and you'll be able to listen to all the action wherever you are. It's Open Westwood One Sports to listen on Alexa.
I don't know if we've seen a player who can get the ball up as quickly as Caitlin Clark could. I was looking at the replay, and the shot went down with just 5 seconds elapsed off the shot clock, coast to coast.
Sherrod misses on the first. She's 1 for 3 from the line today. Colorado 5 of 11 as a team. And the Buffaloes have only hit 1 of their last 7 field goal attempts, and their struggles continue with the line in and out on the second. But a Falter touched it last. Now they're going to reverse the call and say that it was last touched by Colorado, and McCabe will inbound it for the Hawkeyes. Just under a minute to go in the third. It's Iowa leading Colorado by 21. Caitlin Clark with 25. Clark from the left wing. Tries to feed it inside to Ediger. Intercepted, and then the outlet pass by Vonleh, intercepted by McCabe. So Iowa's back in the half-court set with 43 seconds and counting. They reset with Clark between the circles. She's got 3 threes, 61 in her career in the NCAA tournament. That ties Diana Taurasi for the most ever. She needs 1 more to break the mark. Feuerbach gives it up to a Falter to Clark with 8 on the shot clock. Down low to Ediger. Sealed off on the right post. 4 seconds and counting. And they're going to get her on a 3-second violation, and that will give it back to Colorado. So they'll have 21.7, and they could hold to the last shot here in the third. Lisa Bluter's going to give Caitlin Clark a breather as Gabby Marshall comes back in. And Colorado will roll the ball from Smith to Sherrod, who now picks it up. Clock starts, 20 seconds and counting. She crosses the timeline with her team trailing by 21. Iowa in an offset 2-3 zone. 10 seconds and counting. Sherrod dribbling with her right hand between the circles. Foreman comes off a curl. Dangerous bounce pass intended for Vonleh. It was last touched by Iowa before it rolled out of play. There's 3.5 seconds to go in the third quarter here. Sherrod will inbound right baseline underneath her own bucket. Everybody breaks. Nolan off a curl. Comes towards the right corner. The contested jumper off the right side of the rim. Marshall the rebound. And we've got 3 quarters in the books of a Sweet 16 matchup between Iowa and Colorado. And it was the Caitlin Clark show for the last 10 minutes. She leads the way with 25 on 11 of 18 shooting, highlighted by 3 threes and only 12 assists. And they continue to go mano a mano with Iowa, and Colorado's defense, even with players in the vicinity, Kim, have no answer to slow her down.
Iowa just remains in complete control of this game with Clark at the helm, making things happen.
It's a scoring drought of 2 minutes, 43 seconds to end the third for the Buffaloes. They trail Iowa 68-47 from the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. This is the Women's Basketball Tournament.
The NBA playoffs are right around the corner, and you can hear the best matchups and wall-to-wall coverage on NBA Radio Channel 86.
Driving through the rim, got there, lays it up and in!
We're getting you ready for the postseason with our experts all day, every day.
This is what playoff basketball is, man. This ain't about pretty stuff.
Defensively, they have 0 weaknesses.
The NBA postseason starts April 16th, and your home for all the action is NBA Radio Channel 86 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Throughout March, Coach K breaks down the NCAA Tournament on SiriusXM.
To me, the hardest game a coach has to win is the Elite Eight.
Hear men's college basketball's winningest coach share his unique perspective.
The most pressure that a coach has, he not only sees the promised land, he knows the bridge that you have to go over.
It's Basketball and Beyond with Coach K. Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 5 Eastern on College Sports Radio Channel 84 in the car and the all-new SiriusXM app.
It's March, and that means the college basketball season is reaching its apex.
Hammers it down!
Tune in to ACC Today, weekdays from 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern for reactions and analysis of ACC men's basketball teams in the NCAA Tournament. We'll have expert breakdowns from Dallin Cuff.
They are shooting the heck out of the ball.
John Henson.
They're going to be a team to be reckoned with.
Wes Durham.
40 minutes to beat somebody one time.
Plus, we'll hear from players and coaches as they advance through the madness. SiriusXM ACC Radio and streaming on the new and improved SiriusXM app.
Experience the excitement of the men's and women's NCAA basketball tournaments on Sirius XM and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The 1 seed to the brink and holds on.
Search March Madness to hear Westwood One's coverage of all the games.
Holy smokes, what a play!
Plus pre- and post-game shows and get analysis on basketball and beyond with Coach K. Get radio channels for your games at SiriusXM.com/sports or search March Madness on the all-new Sirius XM app.
TuneIn Premium, your audio app for live sports, music, and more as the remaining schools battle for spots in the Final Four. Listen live on TuneIn Premium, download it, and search for Westwood One. Lance Meadow, Kim Adams with you here, MVP Arena in Albany, New York. And it is top seed Iowa leading number 5 seed Colorado 68-47. Caitlin Clark, 25 points through 3 quarters, along with 12 assists. She is one of 4 players to score in double figures for the Hawkeyes. Colorado has no one that has scored in double digits, though 2 players have reached 9 in Sherrod and Vonleh. And Colorado has prided itself, Kim, on balance all season long, but also has prided itself on defense. And Iowa has really stressed out this Colorado defense because of the quick passes and how even when you put all your attention on Clark, you have to anticipate she's going to facilitate and not necessarily look to shoot all the time.
Yeah, well, Caitlin Clark has completely trusted her teammates today. It's why she's had 12 assists, and her teammates have been ready for the moment. I think a lesson was taken from the West Virginia narrow win. I mean, that was a tied ball game with under 3 minutes to go. They ended up winning by 10. But Caitlin Clark had half of the points in that game. Iowa scored just 64 points. They're a team that averages over 90. So I think some note pages were taken from that game. We need other people to be ready to shoot their shots when they come. Caitlin Clark is going to get you open looks. You need to be willing to take it and make it. So Kate Martin with 12, Falter with 15. And Stolke with 11 rounds out 4 Hawkeyes in double figures entering the fourth.
And it will be Colorado basketball to start the fourth quarter, with Sadler doing the honors, joined by Sherrod, Smith, Vonleh, and rounding out the 5 is Foreman. Iowa on defense, Stolke, a Falter, Marshall, Clark, and Martin. Sherrod bounces it in the lane to Foreman, turns, fires the short jumper off the back iron, rebounded by Stolke. Colorado shooting 33% from the field. And Caitlin Clark, tightly guarded by Sadler on the right sideline, bounces it to a Falter left side. Back between the circles is Clark. Has the ball poked out of her hands by Sadler. One-handed rifle pass to Stolke, back out to Martin. Clark, straightaway 3 from the logo, off the front of the rim, rebounded by Stolke, 19 on the shot clock, and Iowa will regroup here. With Clark handling between the circles, jump pass to Marshall, wide open left wing 3, give it to her. Caitlin Clark, 13 dimes. Marshall saying thank you very much. And it's 71-47 Iowa with 9 minutes to go in the fourth.
And I had just personally reflected that Gabby Marshall hit the first 3 of the game and then had not scored until that 3 right there.
Down low underneath. Smith tried to lay it in. Martin got a piece of it. Marshall recovers the loose ball, and Iowa gets another defensive stop. Clark feeds it to Marshall left wing, tries to get an entry pass to Stolke, knocked away by Vonleh, picked up by Sherrod, and Colorado off the turnover. Foreman puts up the right wing 3. It rattles around the rim and in. Foreman with her third 3. She's got 9. No one has hit more trifectas in Colorado men's or women's basketball history than that young lady. The give and go between Martin and a Falter. A Falter gives it up to Martin, to Marshall left side. Marshall between the circles. Clark takes over left wing. In the corner, a wide open Martin around the rim and out on the 3. Stolke fighting for the loose ball, muscles her way into possession. And a timeout taken by Lisa Bluter after it ruled that Iowa did win the battle underneath. And that will give us an opportunity to step aside. It is all Iowa here in Albany. 71-50 over Colorado with 8:09 to go in the third. You are listening to the Women's Basketball Tournament on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
With Marriott Bonvoy, take your game day rituals on the road. No matter how you show your team spirit, you can find a stay for your style with over 30 hotel brands and thousands of global destinations. Marriott Bonvoy has a brand for every kind of fan. Marriott Bonvoy, official hotel partner of the NCAA. Discover more at marriottbonvoy.com/NCAA.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy you happiness. But money did help you buy an RV, which means an excuse from working Saturday with your insufferable coworker, Dave. So money is helping you listen to birds chirp instead of Dave chirping about how his toddler is fluent in 3 languages. And it's also why you'll be smelling pine trees in the air, not Dave's tuna melt reheating in a microwave. So save money by bundling your RV or boat insurance with home or auto from Progressive and buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
You can listen to Westwood One's exclusive coverage of both the NCAA Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament for free on the Varsity Network app. Listen to every game remaining live or on demand. Download the Varsity Network app now and search NCAA Championships. Lance Meadow, Kim Adams with you here in Albany, New York, MVP Arena. It is top seed Iowa leading number 5 seed Colorado 71-50 with Caitlin Clark on 25 points along with 13 assists. She's one of 4 players to score in double figures for the Hawkeyes. And they continue to get so many open looks, Kim, from beyond the arc because of, once again, the attention that Clark is receiving.
And Colorado has switched up the defenses this half. They've primarily gone with a 2-3 zone the last couple of minutes, but Iowa stays aggressive in attacking it, moving the ball. Lisa Bluter did call a timeout there. I think she wants to make sure that they stay disciplined in their shot attempts as Colorado mixes things up. But as we said earlier, Iowa just remains in control of this game. There haven't really been the lapses. That was the key that I've had for them at the half, is just to stay focused, stay locked in, and they've kept their foot on the gas.
Which had been an issue at times against Holy Cross as well as West Virginia in their first 2 contests. We welcome those joining us across the Westwood One Network. It is top seed Iowa leading number 5, Colorado 71-50. Here in Albany, New York, Iowa's largest lead was 24, 71-47. Caitlin Clark, she's working her way on a triple-double as she has 25 points along with 13 assists and 6 rebounds. Colorado is just 4 of 22 from beyond the arc. Lance Meadow, Kim Adams with you. And Caitlin Clark and company trying to set up a rematch against defending national champion LSU Monday night here in New York State. They met last year, and it was a 102-85 victory for the Tigers to secure their first ever national championship. And we are 8:09 away from having another showdown. Caitlin Clark in possession for Iowa out of the timeout underneath the bucket from the left baseline opposite her bench. She lobs it to Martin left side. Further down the wing is Marshall. Back top to Martin to a Folter right wing. Martin gets it right elbow. Bounce pass to the cutting Stolke. She can't lay it in with the right hand. Grabs her own miss. Out to Marshall. Puts up the 3 and cashes it in. Gabby Marshall with her third 3. She's got 9. The hustle points are galore. And it's 74-50 Iowa with 7:48 to go in the fourth quarter.
Iowa becomes much more dangerous when Marshall is draining threes. She's knocking down 45% in the last 7 games.
Foreman from the left corner, up top to Sadler. No look pass to Weta. The touch feed to Vonleh gets blocked, recovers, and lays it in. Vonleh's got 11, and it's 74-52 Iowa. So that's the first Colorado player in double-figure scoring. Stolke from the right corner tries to get a bounce pass to the cutting Clark on the post. Knocked out of play. It will stay with the Hawkeyes. They'll have 21 on the shot clock as Stolke will get a breather. And it is Ediger coming in for her. Clark to inbound. Gets it to the cutting Martin. Takes a power dribble off balance floater off the back iron and out. But Martin was fouled. She will head to the free throw line. Martin has not attempted one thus far today.
Martin moves so well without the ball. A couple of baseline out of bounds plays now. She's simply just snuck in on a hard cut and caught the defense off guard.
Third foul against Weta. Martin comes in 86% on the season, and the first attempt floats in. Martin now is up to 13 points. Third leading scorer on this team. She averages just under 13 per contest. Grad student out of Illinois. Taking advantage at the free throw line. Second one rolls around the rim and in. 76-52 Iowa leading Colorado in this Sweet 16 matchup. Winner gets LSU. Sadler down the left side of the lane. Her floater hits the side of the backboard. Rebounded by Iowa as Clark enters the front court. To a Folter left wing. Extra pass in the corner to Marshall again. Ring it up from downtown. Gabby Marshall. 4 threes. 12 points. And it's 79-52 as Iowa's knocking on the door of 80. Foreman, left elbow jumper. Rattles around the back iron a few times and then falls through to make it a 79-54 game.
Both teams going with a zone look right now. Colorado continues to attack, but on the other end of the floor, there are shooters everywhere on the perimeter, and the zone for Colorado hasn't quite worked.
3 players touch the ball. Clark bounces it to Ediger, who lays it in 81-54. Caitlin Clark, 14 assists. She's 1 away from matching her season high. Sherrod, jump pass down low to Vonleh. Wide open, lays it in with the right hand. 81-56.
Vonleh has been really impactful anytime she's gotten them the ball. I still don't think they're getting it into her enough.
Clark down the right baseline, had her shot blocked by Vonleh partially, deflected out of play. It will stay with Iowa with 6:04 to go, as that was the first time today that we saw Colorado get in the way of Caitlin Clark. So 18 now on the shot clock as Sadler checks out. Miller back in for Colorado. Clark bounces it to Marshall, right wing, top of the key to Fearball. Tries to get it back to Clark. Clark loses it. Weta picks it up, lobs it up at to Foreman, goes up strongly, misses on the bunny from the right side, but was fouled from behind by Fearball. So Foreman's going to be the recipient of a pair of free throws. Along with Kim Adams, I'm Lance Meadow here on Westwood One. You're listening to the NCAA Women's Regional Semifinal presented by Intuit TurboTax. A falter picked up her second personal. Foreman up and in on the first free throw attempt. A 91% free throw shooter. That was her first attempt today. But Colorado has not been able to knock down shots regularly, as her second one off the back iron rebounded off a deflection to a falter. And a falter will bring it up the court herself with 5:45 to go in the fourth. 81-57, Iowa leading Colorado. Clark off the handoff, working left corner. Into the cutting of falter, lose the ball, gets tied up. It rolls to Foreman, up ahead to Sherrod. With Clark trailing, she lays it in. They're going to wave off the bucket. They're going to say Clark fouled her prior to the release of the shot, as Clark was trying to make an attempt on the block.
Sherrod has gotten some tough breaks today. I mean, to me, that's an N1. And Colorado had switched back to a man-to-man. Sherrod was denying Caitlin Clark, able to force that turnover. I think that should be an N1 for Jalen Sherrod.
And she thought so as well. Clark picks up her third. That is the team's second. The inbounds pass deflected by Feuerbach. Feuerbach intercepts it and then is fouled as Nolan was trying to get it into Vonleh. And that spells out exactly what has haunted this Colorado team all throughout this game. That is their 13th turnover.
Well, we talked to Iowa head coach Lisa Bluter yesterday and about how sometimes the defense of Iowa is overlooked because they give up a good amount of points, but it's because there's so many possessions in the game.
Clark down the right side of lane, banks it in with ease once again. She's got 27, and it's 83-57. As that time, Colorado once again could not put an obstacle in her way. Miller, left wing for the Buffaloes. Top of the key, gets it to Weta. 15 on the shot clock. Swings it back to Miller. Her three for the left wing. Off the back iron. Tracked down in the right corner by Marshall. Bounces it to Clark, and here comes Clark again. Across the timeline. Slows things down. Right sideline. Working with Weta. Behind the back dribble. Through the legs. Just dancing with it as she regroups on the right sideline. She got bored with it, so she gives it up to Feuerbach. Feuerbach between the circles. 10 on the shot clock. Swings it over to a falter. Ediger calling for the ball. A falter drives left baseline to Ediger. Baseline jumper with 3 on the shot clock off the left side of the rim. Vonleh falls. It hits 3 different players. Deflects out of play. It was last touch, they're going to say, by Iowa. And it will head back to Colorado. And with that, we'll have some changes here as Caitlin Clark and a falter will take a seat for Iowa. Whitaker is going to return for Colorado. Vonleh will head to the bench. So Iowa now, their 5 is McCabe, Marshall, Martin, Ediger, and Feuerbach. Miller rolling it to Sherrod and nearly stolen by Marshall.
Large ovation from the Iowa fans. We thought maybe Caitlin was encroaching on a triple-double. Don't think she'll get it today. Not sure she'll come back in.
Weta from the left wing to Miller, left side of the lane, had her shot blocked. She picked it up. It rolls around the perimeter, and Nolan ends up with it and knocks down the 3 to make it 83-60. Iowa, though, leading Colorado as we are under 4 minutes to go in the fourth. McCabe, tightly defended, tries to get it to Feuerbach. Sherrod fighting for the loose ball. They're tied up. We're going to get a jump ball. And the possession arrow will stay on this side of the court. Another great hustle play by Sherrod. PGA Junior League brings friends, families, and communities together through golf. Find your team and sign up today at PGAJuniorLeague.com. They inbound to Martin. Puts up the straightaway 3 off the left side of the rim, and Sherrod will wisely let it bounce out of play as she and her teammates will inbound from the near left sideline. And now Caitlin Clark is back in. Marshall takes a seat. I mean, did you really think with 3:42 to go that was going to be it for Caitlin Clark? As the crowd loves the fact that Lisa Bluter is putting her back in this one.
Well, I think they're a standing ovation for Gabby Marshall. They had given Caitlin Clark a standing ovation. I think they're as surprised as we are.
Do you have a limitation on how many standing ovations, though, Caitlin Clark can get in a game? That's the better question. As Miller has it from the free throw line, straightaway jumper off the back iron. Whitaker the rebound, back out to Miller, to Nolan on the right wing as she splashes in another 3. Maddie Nolan the transfer from Michigan, making her presence felt in an 83-63 game with Iowa in front.
I mean, it's very interesting that Lisa Bluter is putting Caitlin back in, up 20. I mean, you'd rather assure that she's safely going to make it into the next round.
As Clark tries to feed it to Martin, it was deflected out of play, last touch by Colorado. Well, this is the risk you always take when you have a sizable lead. But she trusts Caitlin Clark, and she has shown that all throughout this season. Clark inbounds to Martin, fights off a few screens, has the ball back. Hesitation down the right side of lane, fools Weta, and looks back as she drove right by her for a layup. 29 and 14 assists in an 85-63 Iowa lead. Sherrod lets it fly from the right wing, in and out. Rebounded by Martin, outlet up ahead to Fearbach, deflected out of play by Sherrod, who went into the scorer's table, and fortunately is going to be able to walk back onto the court under her own power, and the crowd here on Iowa and Colorado's end respecting the heck out of that.
That play sums up the type of player that Jalen Sherrod is. I mean, down 22, diving into computer screens and laptops, trying to make a save.
Clark, high on the left wing, crossover dribble. Sealed off by Sherrod, bounce pass to the cutting Martin in the lane, awkward floater. Did not hit the rim, just glass, and then it skimmed off a Colorado player before it went out of play. So with 13 on the shot clock, Iowa will retain possession as Lisa Bluter takes out Henninger as well as Martin. So Clark is still in, and she continues to go deep into the bench. As Goodman, as well as Johnson checks in. Johnson gets the inbounds, turns and floats it in with the left hand. Michaela Johnson, the redshirt freshman, going to work off the bench. Sherrod back the other way, bounces it to Whitaker. Wide open right-handed layup. 87-65, Iowa leads with 2:15 to go here in the fourth. Clark off the left elbow, swings it to Fearbach. Her baseline jumper overshoots the rim. Goodman grabs the rebound, out to McCabe, her three, off the right side of the rim, tracked down by Miller. Sherrod kicks it in the corner to Nolan. Sherrod and Nolan continue to play catch. Nolan puts up the three from the right corner and drills it again. Maddie Nolan, her third three. She's now in double figures with 12. It's 87-68 Iowa. And we're going to get a brief stoppage of play because we're going to get hockey line changes for Colorado as J.R. Payne goes deep into her bench. And a standing ovation for the Colorado players, including Miller, Whitaker, Sherrod, Nolan, as they get hugs from their teammates. It's now Foreman, Smith, Weta, McLeod, and rounding out the group is Sophie Gerber.
And it was a second standing ovation for Caitlin Clark, who's now out of the game again for what could be the final time of this one.
McCabe, top of the key, gets it to Marshall off the pump, pulls up on the baseline, and floats it in. Gabby Marshall is up to 14 in an 89-68 advantage for the Iowa Hawkeyes with a minute 08 and counting. Weta, top of the key for the Buffaloes, tries to get a pass inside. Goodman intercepts it, gives it up to Marshall, and Marshall will slowly bring it up the right sideline. Bounces it inside. They were trying to get it to Jimfy, and instead Weta took it away. So Gerber takes over right wing for Colorado, to Foreman left wing, bounce pass to Smith in the lane, out to Gerber, wide open right wing three, air ball, bounces out of play, and it will head back to the Hawkeyes with 35.3 seconds to go. There is a 5-second differential between shot clock and game clock, so Iowa cannot dribble out the clock here. McCabe gets the inbounds. Back to Fearbach. Colorado drops back in the half-court defensive set. And the crowd is on its feet with 22 seconds and counting. They get it inside to Goodman. Back to Jiffy. And a travel on her, as that will give it to Colorado. So it's 13.4 seconds to go. They'll inbound to Weta. She enters the front court. Around the perimeter it goes. 5 seconds and counting. Foreman is just going to dribble it out. The Iowa Hawkeyes are setting the stage for a rematch of last year's national championship game. Iowa back to the Elite Eight for the second straight year as the top-seeded Hawkeyes take care of business in New York, cruising past Colorado 89-68 behind a 29-point performance by Caitlin Clark to go along with 15 assists, a double-double. And the Iowa Hawkeyes now will turn their attention to the LSU Tigers, the defending national champs, Monday night here in Albany, New York.
I mean, this is the matchup that a lot of people were hoping for when that bracket came out. There was certainly not an easy path for either team to get there. Some tough matchups, but the stage is set. What a performance for Caitlin Clark, but she certainly got a lot of help from her teammates this afternoon. 5 Iowa Hawkeyes in double figures.
And Clark and her teammates at center court celebrating with head coach Lisa Bluter and her staff as they head back to the Elite Eight. And they beat Colorado in the Sweet 16 for the second consecutive year. Last year in Seattle, this year here in Albany, New York. And Kim Mulkey's team will be ready for a battle royale, Kim, because you've got an LSU team that played a highly contested game with UCLA earlier today. Iowa is a little bit different because they jumped on Colorado early, and we are now joined by a young lady who stepped up big time. She actually has stepped up big time since Molly Davis went down with an injury at the tail end of the regular season, and that is Sydney Falter, the junior out of Chicago, Illinois. Sydney, this has been routine for you in terms of stepping into this role, but how about the balanced attack around Caitlin Clark today and how Caitlin spread the wealth and you and your teammates took full advantage of that?
Yeah, I mean, Caitlin's the best basketball player in America right now, and it's so awesome to play with her. And she's not just the best scorer, but she's the best passer. And it's not just Caitlin on this team. You know, we have 4 other girls on the court with her, including everyone on the bench, and, you know, everyone contributes to this team.
And Sydney, coming into this game, you had been really tested by West Virginia. It seemed like your team really set the tone in this one and maintained it. What was the approach heading into this Sweet 16 matchup?
You know, West Virginia was a really tough game, and I'm glad we played them early. It was tight, and I think they flustered us a little bit with their defense, but the fact that we were able to stay composed in that game really taught us a lot leading into the rest of March, so I'm excited to keep playing.
Back-to-back games in which you've also relied heavily on your defense, Sydney. How much are you and your teammates looking to make a statement that you're not just an offensive-minded squad and you can actually limit teams like you did last week with West Virginia and you held Colorado to 68 here?
Yeah, I think everyone knows that that's the way we like to play basketball. We like to push and we like to score, and you know, we're not just an offensive-minded team. We can rely on our defense, and I think we really learned that in that West Virginia game. And defense isn't just about being big or tall. It's about heart and effort, and you can't coach that. So.
And Sydney, the bracket is official now. You will be meeting up with LSU again, a rematch of last year's national championship. How much are you looking forward to that opportunity?
Yeah, I'm super excited no matter who we're playing. You know, it'll be a fun, competitive game, and I'm just excited to be one of the 8 teams left here.
Well, Sydney, congratulations to you and your teammates, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday night.
Thank you so much.
Sydney Falter weighing in on her team's 89-68 victory over Colorado. That is the final score from Albany as you are listening to the Women's Basketball Tournament on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.
support you guys have been bringing the channel has been unbelievable, and hopefully that'll continue once again here tonight. I'm going to bring the stream up on my phone. Nobody's let me know how the audio levels are in the chat, so I'm going to double check it myself right now, so just bear with me. I'm going to mute my microphone so you guys don't get any of the background noise, but I'll still be here.
For the world.
So strap on in, get in the chat, and let's turn up tonight.
We welcome
I hit it too, like shift change, back to halftime, says Valhalla. Thank you very much.
Their way to the Elite Eight. Duke goes from sweet to elite. In Hollywood, dreams do